So I talked to Chris yesterday. We might just run most of today's show on Thursday, if that's okay with you guys.
That's fine with
That's
me.
so funny. As we were pulling out of the parking lot, I'm thinking about our guest list and our show, and I'm thinking, well, geez, he could run most of this.
Yeah, that's what I was because I did cut some up so that we can have some. So if they're
because the 6:30 segment you got to replace,
right,
and then you get the 9 o'clock hour, so
yes.
you could throw some stuff in there from yesterday.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'll stitch it in there. But I thought the same thing as David. Like we're gonna have a really good football show. So.
Yeah, nothing that we say here
is outdated Thursday morning.
Thursday, because none of the college games will have played, none of the pro games will have played. I mean, unless Bud Elliott gives us some action, best bet when we ask him who pick a winner for us.
Yeah, the key was Monday Night Football. Once that's over, that had a lot of implications for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Golly.
And I see Adam Beasley's going to join us.
Yeah, that's why we had to move Seth because we had 7:38 open, and Adam was like, I'm not doing that. And it was like, how about 8? All right, I'll do 8. So then I said to Seth, can we move you up? So it'll be Lee Sterling, Seth Everett, Adam Beasley, Dr. Roto. I don't think Alex Gola, South Florida, for whatever, has dusted us.
Well, we're not on in Tampa anymore.
I don't know if they know that. I doubt it. I think
that's right. Both our guys had the Eagles. We had 2 parlays that should have been 1.
Oh my God, that's right. 9, an 8 and a 9 teamer.
And we got a new sponsor.
I'm sorry, what?
I sold another sponsorship yesterday.
I was unaware.
Got a house sold yesterday. I got a contract offer on a house that I did and sold a sponsorship to the show, all while at the beach.
I was going to say, man, I thought I had a productive day. Jeez.
I should say the first one, the house was at the beach. The other deal was where all good, respectable radio deals are done, over beers at a bar.
Oh, there you go.
So funny. The guy I was with, his buddy, I think Andy's his name. Andy is from the UK, from Manchester. It is so fun to sit and drink with Brits because they use the C word like we say damn and hell.
Oh. Huh. Okay.
And that makes me smile. Because it sounds better in the British accent.
Well, most things do.
It's an oon. It's not an it's an oon.
Top of the morning to everybody.
Yeah, those butter hands helped you out, Adam. How about that?
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot.
Congratulations, Adam.
Yeah, way to go.
Very impressive.
Who was the other one?
Yeah, the other came in later in the Twitch chat.
Right.
The Dell fan. West Coast Dell fan, maybe? And he had a 9-teamer.
Right.
Okay. 10 seconds.
Whatever.
If you say so, I guess we're doing this.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. Hope your week got off to a good start. We know it's going to be a busy one today. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Well, did it live up to the hype? What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I had the drama right to the very end. I don't think it's the game that most people wanted. I think people, are getting to the point where they enjoy these games that get up to around the 30s. I know you had to love it. A team playing all kinds of defense in the second half to win.
Well, defense, for the most part, the only way you can play it in this day and age of football, involving a little rope-a-dope. The Chiefs moved the ball. I mean, they had well over 300 yards of
Right.
offense. But, you need to come up with the big play. I would argue the key play was when they forced the fumble on Kelsey inside the 10. Now, maybe they settled for 3 there and their lead only would have been 6. But, I don't think they recover if the Chiefs pound that sucker in. And they would have had first and goal at about the 7 if Kelsey doesn't fumble. So, and a great play by Philadelphia, too. Kelsey had both arms around the ball, and the guy just punched it out. Once again, modern football. Tackling, I'll tackle the ball. But that's what they're taught nowadays. That's more important. Okay. So, but both quarterbacks showing at times why it is that they are elite. I mean, Mahomes could sue his receivers today. I mean, literally, if there was a law, the official law firm of the Kansas City Chiefs could put a commercial together, all right, in which they say, if you're Patrick Mahomes and you want to sue for lack of support, okay, call whoever it is. I mean, at least 6 drops, including on what would have been the go-ahead touchdown with, I don't know, a minute and a half to go.
And it was a that pass to Valdez-Scantling was as good of a ball as you can throw for that distance. To catch it should be made every time.
Yeah. Yeah. And for once, Mark, I was thinking this as we were leaving the parking lot. For once, us media yahoos maybe are right about something. We wondered, do the Chiefs, are their weapons good enough? It's not that Andy Reid's not good enough. It's not that Patrick Mahomes isn't good enough. Goodness knows their defense is good enough. Right? Are their receivers good enough? Last night, they were not. If they were average last night, the Chiefs win the game. They weren't. And I don't know if they can even be average. 2 hours before the game, they haven't let the public in yet. There's a few suite holders that are in, and the Len Dawson press box, that's what it's called, and the suites are at the same level. Like if Taylor Swift had been there last night, she would have been 2 suites to our left. That's the Mahomes suite, if you will. And so I'm sitting at a table, and the guys I was with got up and left, and I'm the only one there, and there are 4 seats. And 3 suite holders come and say, "Do you mind if we sit down?" I said, "No." And you know me, what do I start doing?
Little R&D.
R&D.
Little
That's
R&D.
right.
You get somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Start asking, where's the new Royal Stadium going to be? What are they going to do with Arrowhead? Blah, 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 blah. And finally, I looked at him and I go, so it's 3rd and 6, and they double Kelsey, and he's not open. Who are they going to throw it to? I go, my radio partner and I have been asking this question for 6 months. Who are they going to throw it to? Well, guess what? They don't have a good answer. Now they got time. They got time. But don't you think it'd be nice? Don't you think you'd feel a little better if you were Kansas City, if you had an answer today? So it was a strange game. Chiefs outgained them by 100 yards, ran 20 more plays than the Eagles. And yet the Eagles, the rope-a-dope to that fighter, and then they delivered the big shots. Boom, boom. Down goes Kansas City. And now, this morning, heading into the holiday, The number 1 seed in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens. Funny, Mark, for the last 3 years, right around the Thanksgiving holiday, do you know who the number 1 seed has been?
The Baltimore Ravens.
And then Lamar the last 2 years has gotten hurt.
Exactly. And in a year when we've watched a quarterback after quarterback after quarterback go down, you just kind of hold your breath for Lamar because we want to see him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I want to see Lamar and Patrick Mahomes go after one another. And not, I know they're on opposite sides of the field. I get it. But I want to see those two duel in the postseason.
So AFC, by the way, AFC's got a lot of jambalaya. That's it. 10, 11 teams there. Just don't know how
I'm trying to figure out how good the good teams are in the AFC, though. And I'm serious here. We've got 3 straight games in which the Chiefs haven't been able to score a point in the second half.
You know, that's a crazy stat. We both stumbled upon that before the show. I have to admit, would have been nice to have had last night.
That would have been a good one to have last night.
That would have been a nice nugget. You know, the Chiefs haven't scored a point in the second half in a month. What are you talking about? Yeah.
They were shut out by the Broncos and they lost. They were shut out by the Dolphins and they won. And they were shut out last night by the Eagles. They had a bye in there. It's been since October the 22nd since they've scored a point in the second half. That, to me, David, I don't know much. That seems to be a problem, though.
Well, yes. Yes. I mean, remember against the Dolphins, what they have, like 54 yards in the second half against Miami? Held on there, got that defensive touchdown right before halftime, and ended up being the difference in the game. So I will say this going forward. I'm not sure if the Chiefs are an underdog in a game the rest of the year. Like, they do the whole schedules. Like, you could argue, Mark, a bigger win for the Eagles. Because the Eagles in their next 4 games have Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas, and Seattle. I mean, say what you will, they're all winning teams. And the team with the worst record in the bunch has the best quarterback in the bunch. So, game on for Philadelphia. If they go 2-2 during the next 4 games, as long as one of the wins is San Francisco, because Dallas has a challenging schedule the rest of the way too. It's difficult to imagine the Cowboys are going to run the table. But if the Eagles go 2-2 in their next 4, and one of the wins is the home game against the Niners, the Eagles are going to be the 1 seed again. Because their last 3 games are the Giants twice and the Cardinals. So, one of those weeks that Dallas is hosting Detroit and Dallas is in Miami, yeah, Philly's at home with the Giants or playing the Cardinals.
And the Eagles now 9-1, and nobody thinks they've played a complete game yet.
No, not even their coach. No. But there is something about knowing how to win. There is something about having experience winning, having a winning quarterback.
Yes, and there is something about having incredibly strong players at each line of scrimmage. There's a reason that Philadelphia can just wear you down.
Although I thought for long stretches Monday night, Mark, the Chiefs were doing something that I don't know if I had seen happen to Philadelphia in 2 years. I mean, there were stretches where the Chiefs were whooping them up front. Their defensive line and Spags coming from all different angles and sending more than 4 on many occasions, and the Eagles were struggling. I mean, both the Chiefs and the Eagles had more 3-and-outs than like they had in any game all year. So,
but on the other side of the ball, that defense keeps coming, and their front's every bit of what Kansas City's front was. Yeah, they gave up yards, but no points again in the second half.
Man, that Mahomes is tough to get down. To watch him in person, whoo-wee. It just seems sometimes as if the roof is caving in on him, and he manages to escape most every time. He is worth the price of admission. He really is. Even though they held him to one of the I think 5 lowest yard totals of his career last night. He threw over 40 times, and I think he threw for 177 yards. It's because I think the receivers dropped over 100 yards.
I was going to say, what did they drop last night? I mean, Valdez-Scantling dropped 50 yards on one play.
Well, an 84 there on 4th and 25, dropped a 27-yard pass.
Right. So just that drive alone cost him 80 yards.
Right. So, but yes, I enjoyed it. I don't mind a few punts. I don't mind a few stops. You know, the Super Bowl was awesome at 38 and 35. There were no stops. 21-17, yeah, we got our stops. We got about a stop a quarter. Okay. You know, and then 2 turnovers in the red zone for the Chiefs also. I mean,
the one thing I kept thinking, and there's no way of telling what Philadelphia would have done on the back end, but scoring was at a premium last night. If they punch that in the ends, if Valdez-Scantling catches that, the score would have been 24-21.
Right.
The over-under was 45.5, and the spread was 2.5.
Right.
Nothing to see here, folks.
No.
I have no idea what they're doing.
No. They're just throwing darts at a board. Yep.
So Monday Night Football lives up to the hype. The Eagles with a huge win in Kansas City last night. We've got a great show for you today. David Samson will join us on the show. Matt Baker covers college football for the Tampa Times. Time to start getting ready. It's rivalry week, David.
Damn right it is, Mark. Damn right it is. Lines are out too. Michigan, Ohio State, Florida, Florida State, the Iron Bowl, the Apple Cup, the Civil War. Oh, we're doing this.
Oh, he's fired up, even with lack of sleep. All I have to do is say those 2 words to David, rivalry week, and he just starts it going. Pat Kirwan, for one of his 2 weekly appearances, will join us. Bud Elliott moved up a day this week. He will join us as well on the show. So a terrific show for you today here on Miller and Moulton. The starting 5 is 25 minutes away. David is in Kansas City. I'm here in the studios in the 239. Thanks so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Time you out today?
1:30. So I got an hour nap in me coming after the show.
You got to go through Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you check a bag?
When the weather gets cool, I pack stuff that's bigger than one suitcase. So then I check a bag. But September and most of October, if not all of October, I don't check a bag.
What's up, Raj? What are you doing up?
Hey, Raj. I do have to put KC News on.
They may never be allowed to wear jerseys again, David.
Wow. Oh yeah, I got to put these guys on. These were the jersey wearers. Look at the morning weather gal who wasn't on yesterday morning. She's in a purple dress.
Been funny if they were all wearing green.
We're black. Adam, there's no doubt about it. Okay. Travis needed Taylor. I picked the Eagles. I said her not being there was his kryptonite.
Well, it's come to find out that she is very powerful. I mean, think of Joe Burrow made a comment about her, and he lost most of the season to injury.
Right.
By the way, I don't know if this has anything to do with what Gino was asking us about, but our hotkeys aren't loading, which means I don't have the button to click us onto the app. So I don't know if we're on it or if there was Monday Night Football last night.
Oh, okay.
It's just, it says radio server not available. So it's
Gotcha.
not connecting to something.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, because I mean, there's not even an option to reload anything.
It doesn't mean they didn't set it last night, though. We haven't had anybody complain that we're not on the app.
True.
Yeah, but the problem is that if we're not, we can't put.
Well, we'll text Chris here. I mean,
well, yeah, you're right. We'll wait for somebody to tell us we're not on the app.
Every Stearns & Foster using the finest materials like indulgent memory and ultra-conforming inner springs for a beautiful mattress and indescribable comfort. Save up to $800 plus get a $300 gift. Shop Mattress Firm in store or online.
Well, DC, Adam is sweating.
Andy, and this is why I switched to
Adam and Dolphin there. They had the Eagles in these massive 8 and 19 parlays.
And my entire site would go down. Shopify made it really easy for me to shift everything over and hit the ground running.
Is that your phone or
yes,
computer?
my phone. My phone.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm in Kansas City this morning where it's, still low 40s, although it stopped raining. The water that's falling outside is just tears.
Aha!
But the Eagles are 9-1, and the Chiefs now in a 3-way tie for the 2 seed, right? I mean, you got Kansas City, you got Jacksonville, you've got the Miami Dolphins. Now, Kansas City owns the tiebreaker because they beat them both. But, it's there for the taking. Ravens are the 1 seed. They're 8-3. So the 4 division leaders in the AFC, Mark, all tied with 3 losses.
But as you pointed out, Kansas City will be a favorite in every game they play the rest of the way.
They will. We'll say this. Isn't it Miami at Baltimore late in the year?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big game because both teams are going to be trying to hold on in their divisions. And if by chance it looks as if they are, that could determine who's got the 2 and who's got the 3 when they play in the divisional round, right?
Well, Baltimore goes to Jacksonville as well. Baltimore's got a 3-week stretch here where it's at Jacksonville, at the Niners, home for the Dolphins before they finish the season, home for the Steelers.
Christmas Day is that Baltimore-San Francisco game, the formerly known as the Harbaugh Bowl. Gut feeling, by the way. You think he's coaching at Michigan next year?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, I don't. I think that he's in the NFL. I think this has driven him out of college.
So we'll see then. One last shot at Ohio State if that's the case. It's rivalry week after all. So Michigan favored for the first time in 5 years. Have you seen the line?
4.5, right?
I got 3.5.
3.5? Okay.
So, and Florida State, even though both teams without the starting quarterbacks, a week ago at this time, didn't we think it'd be 9, 10,
Yes.
right around there? The opening line that I saw for Florida State was 6.5. We said yesterday, and Miller and Moulton hate injuries, never root for injuries. But if both teams are going to lose their quarterback, that's edge Florida. It just is.
It is.
He was the best player that was going to be on the field. His guy is better than your guy. That's just.
And your guy's not your best player. Your guy does a nice job at quarterback, but I don't think any Gator fans out there think that the best player on the field for the Gators is ever Mertz.
But, Mark, I would like a moment, whether it's a moment of silence or not, but a career came to an end yesterday. Finally, mercifully, all right, the Jets ended Zach Wilson's career. Now, amazingly, he's still going to collect checks. Amazingly, he's still going to be employed. But his career ended yesterday. And as an NFL fan, as many of you are, I think we should thank the New York Jets for, raising or lowering, I should say, our misery index. Because now we will not have to be subjected to watching a team play with quarterback play like that. I mean, I am very serious when I ask this. You have a choice, Tommy DeVito or Zach Wilson. Who would you take?
Tommy DeVito. Is that even a question right now?
Well, as a matter of fact,
I'll take Vito to Tommy.
That was a great line by Steve Politti in that
really is.
column, wasn't
I can't get it out of my head.
it?
I'll take Vito Anafermo for that matter before I'll take.
But one guy was the second overall pick of the draft, Mark, just 3 years ago. And the other guy might as well be back in groceries in Rahway.
Don't know what to tell you. Who would you start?
Vito the Tommy. I mean, the other guy's horrible. Trying to figure out how that general manager gets to keep his job at the end of the year. Let me get this straight. You had the second pick of the draft. You could have picked any one of hundreds of players. And you literally picked a guy who can't play. Why am I going to let you pick any more players again?
Somewhere Josh Rosen said that was a bad pick, David.
Yes, Ryan Leaf's going, man, Zach Wilson sucked. And I sucked, and then I was addicted to drugs for nearly a decade and went to jail. Man, he's terrible. So just, like to take a moment and a high profile, not a prolific, but a high profile career came to an end yesterday because they made him quarterback 3, which really means he's quarterback 4.
How much did that locker room hate him? Because obviously, but think about it. It took this long. Management and the head coach had made a decision that they were going to stick with this guy, that the mutiny was so bad.
Oh, well, yes. I mean, he benched him at halftime against the Bills, and if he had come back to him, Saleh would have lost the locker room. The locker room was clearly already splintered. When you're having a team meeting in the second half of the season on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, we cannot emphasize Tuesday is the one day all week you have nothing to do with football. Nothing. You go into the building on Monday and you take care of some things. Maybe you watch some video, this, that, and the other thing. Literally, they say, we will see you Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. for practice. And you get the game plan maybe on Monday. Or you say, go home, it'll be emailed to you. Tuesday is the off day in the league. And the Jets said, team meeting Tuesday, 10 o'clock, everybody be there. Wait a minute, I've been taking my kid to school. Like I just, I was spending time with the, with the wife or the girlfriend or both. One gets the morning, one gets the afternoon. I mean, what are you talking about, team meeting? What? Zach sucks. We're screwed. Team meeting, 10 o'clock. Okay. So
that's how bad it already was there. And by halftime, it obviously had boiled over, and Zach Wilson is done as a Jet. And, well, David, finally.
Think about Zach Wilson went 2, and Trey Lance went 3 in that draft. And these people are still employed who did this. Wow. That's a mulligan, man.
Well, and in the Jets case, who did they take with their other first-round pick 9 picks later?
I don't know if that was the same draft. I think Becton was the year before.
Year before? Okay,
right.
Same guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Same guy picking the groceries. Yeah, and then it keeps picking the fruit that's, no longer ripe. It's ruined. It's awful. So there you go. So a career came to an end yesterday, yet he'll collect checks for at least another year and a half. The starting 5, that's next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. We're on the app, by the way.
Good. reading a horror story about the CEO of Fox going over to see Zelensky. He brought the reporter who was nearly killed 18 months ago and what have you. And in the story, they refer to the Secretary of Defense as the Secretary of State twice.
Slightly different there.
Yeah, it really is. Not only that, it's not like the Secretary of State hasn't been getting airtime recently. You know, got this little Mideast conflict going on. I will say the young reporter who was in the parking lot of the stadium yesterday in her Chiefs stuff, she still has the Chiefs colored fingernails, but she's downtown doing some story. Oh, fam, there's no doubt about it. We all have quarterback misses. And whew, I didn't know Manziel had the personal demons that he had. I thought he'd make it.
How about Kim Mulkey getting a little testy? Did you see her presser?
Yeah. Hey, we just want to know what the story is. No, I'm not going to tell you. No,
None of
you
your
know what?
business.
I don't think you should. I mean, we only pay you $2.5, $3 million a year.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. David Samson will join us at the top of the hour. We never have anything to talk to him about. Guess we'll just ask him his Thanksgiving plans. I have to admit, I feel like I spent most of the day yesterday asking everybody, hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, it's because you're having 84 people at your house. Did the guest list get any bigger between yesterday and today? Yet?
No, there was a late ad on Sunday, but no, the official tally of 14 is still the official tally.
I love that you're having twice as many people at your house than I'm having at mine. I love this.
I love the fact that we only have seating for 6. We have parking for maybe none. Yeah, and
there's going to be a brawl at the visitor parking spots on Thursday.
I have no idea how we're going to do this. I really don't. I've been thinking about that.
Oh, there's a letter coming. Someone's going to park in someone else's spot. You've got a letter coming.
Oh, Mark, honestly, there are certain things that even I won't do in life, and I will not park in somebody else's marked parking spot. Are you kidding me? What are you doing parking at 123? Do you live in 123? No, but it was open and I just need to. How dare you, sir? Oh, yeah.
Got that right.
I won't do it. Won't do it. No.
Never been looking forward to a show as much as I'm looking forward to our Black Friday show, just to see how things worked out at the Moulton House.
I'm looking forward to the Black Friday show, too, because that means that the proceedings will have taken place at the Moulton House, and they'll be in the rearview mirror.
And you'll be getting on a plane at some point on Friday or Saturday, leaving
exactly.
it all.
I'll be 8 hours away from get me out of here. I want to go to a nice, peaceful event, the Iron Bowl, where everybody can get along. And there's plenty of parking.
That part is true. Time now for
the starting 5. 5 stories you need to know. It's the starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Well, we put week 11 of the NFL to bed with the Eagles shutting down the Chiefs in the second half. Jalen Hurts with 2 touchdown runs, one in the third quarter, one in the fourth. And they rallied from a 17-7 deficit, and they beat Kansas City. A little bit of payback for the Super Bowl. Eagles now 9-1, Chiefs now 7-3. Chiefs ran 20 more plays than the Eagles. Chiefs gained almost 100 yards more than the Eagles. Yet Philly goes on the road and gets the job done. Next up for Philly, Buffalo at home. So, Dolph fans, yeah, you're Eagles fans. Should have been Eagles fans last night, and you should be Eagles fans at least for another week. Did you hear the story about Broncos safety Kareem Jackson? He's the defensive back who was suspended for 3 games, reduced to 2 games, because he keeps leading with his head and hitting other players in the head.
Right.
So he's suspended for 2 games. His first game back was Sunday night against the Vikings. 2 minutes into the game, he lowers his helmet and hits Joshua Dobbs in the head. Now, the fact that he wasn't, penalized and kicked out, was shocking. But, upon further review, the NFL took a look at it and said, dude, I hate to treat you like a 9-year-old, but we grounded you because you kept stealing cookies out of the cookie jar. And then as soon as we let you back, the first thing you do is you stole more cookies. 4 games, by the way. They're kind of like, this is it, dude. Okay? There aren't many games left, and we're suspending you for 4 of them. Don't even bother appealing. No way.
Come on, do PEDs. Do something that's not going to get you this type of suspension.
Right. The Jets demoted Zach Wilson. Thank goodness. Does that mean that the talking heads on the 4-letter network can stop talking about him and them? Please? Please? We beg of you. We know half of you are Jets fans. Don't know what to tell you. They suck. Aaron Rodgers got hurt. The rest of us knew they would suck without Aaron Rodgers. You guys were the last to know. Tim Boyle, Mark, is, I have to admit, nobody had Zach Wilson on their fantasy team, right? But
nope.
Are you going to claim Tim Boyle?
Nope.
Okay. Looks like Chargers defensive end Joey Bosa is headed to IR with a foot sprain. They're even discussing that he may not come back this year. He's been getting hurt a lot lately.
I can't say I'm surprised by this news, David. It's a Charger player doing Charger things, whether it's injury, whatever the case may be. As you know, I am done with this football team.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. This is already a great Thanksgiving, if that is truly the case. They're listing Cooper Kupp as day-to-day with a sprained ankle. I don't know. That seems overly optimistic, doesn't it? But we'll see. Going forward, they said the goal is to play this week. Yeah, no kidding. That's everybody's goal.
That's always the goal.
Right. And my goal is to see the games on Sunday. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Come on now. College football. So Michigan's favorite over Ohio State for the first time in 5 years. I got them as a 3.5-point favorite. You may get them at more. Florida State's a 6.5-point favorite at Florida. Gators needing a win to be bowl eligible. Otherwise, Billy Napier is going to enter the offseason with a 5-game losing streak. And Northern Arizona fired their head coach. And I'm sure many of you are going, I didn't realize there was a Northern Arizona and that they played football.
That's exactly what I was doing.
But Chris Ball was his name, and he got 5 years. He had a losing record. So they said, sorry, Chris, we have to do better.
We think we can do better at where?
That'd be Northern Arizona.
Northern Arizona.
Right. Directional school. So college hoops. UCF improved to 4-1. They beat Charlotte by 3. FGCU fell to 1-5. Norfolk State beat them by 3. Stetson won by 18. FIU fell to 1-5. They lost to Marshall. Florida State improved to 3-1. They beat UNLV. Bethune improved to 3-1. They beat Charleston Southern. FAMU fell to 0-4. They lost to Oregon. Now, some noteworthy scores around the country. Game of the night, arguably, at least in terms of billing, was Purdue and Gonzaga. Gonzaga had an early double-digit lead, and Purdue just slowed them down. got the ball inside to the big fella, pounded the glass. They won. Second-ranked Boilermakers, 73-63. Your neck of the woods, Mark. High Point, Illinois State, Wright State, Hofstra, winners in the Gulf Coast Showcase. Meanwhile, the Fort Myers tip-off, Wisconsin whacked Virginia. They were an underdog in that game. They beat them by 24. They'll play SMU in the final. SMU beat West Virginia by 12. Excuse me. On the women's side, we got some drama. Got this LSU Angel Reese story. You paying attention to this?
I am.
So
because Milky does not like to talk about it. That's the only reason I'm interested in this story is the way she's handled the press conference.
And the way she's handled the press conference is by damn near ignoring that there's a situation.
Right. None of your business. I'm the coach. It's none of your business.
Right.
She's on the team. Is she practicing? It's none of your business.
Yeah, it's
I don't think I need to tell you that.
Well, first off, actually, if you want us to have interest in you and your sport, you need to share a little bit. Also, it's called being an adult, Kim. Okay, you just come out. Obviously, you've suspended her. Okay, Angel Reese, by the way, was benched 3 games ago. Then she wasn't at the last 2 games. Well, I mean, did she just not show up for the first game, which caused Kim Mulkey to suspend her for the second game? And neither one, by the way. They both have millions of followers. They both have made millions of dollars. Yes, Angel Reese has made millions of dollars. She was in the SI swimsuit issue. She's got NIL deals that most of us, would give up a lot for. Yeah, I just, treat us with a little respect. Just tell us what's going on. I mean, it's not going to change anything. You're not suspended, not suspended, going to play, not going to play. I mean, Kim, we're not questioning your authority. It's just show a little respect for your fan base. They kind of want to know, what the hell's happened to our best player? None of your business. Really? Huh. Okay. See, this is where, you know me, Mark, I would just say, well, I'm not going to cover you till you tell us. I'll stay home. I don't care. I'd look right into the camera and go, you really think in Baton Rouge, I know you just won the national championship. You really think this Thanksgiving week, this rivalry week with the football team hosting A&M, that I need to be spending any time on this? You're crazy. Okay. Anyway,
and college football coaches are as bad, if not worse, than Kim Mulkey is. But this is where, if you want to be treated like a big-time sport, start acting like it. That's all we're saying.
LSU, meanwhile, beat Texas Southern by 59 without Angel Reese. So Florida, FAU, and UCF were women's basketball winners last night. FAMU and Stetson were losers. Soccer, did you see, speaking of losing, the U.S. men's national team lost to Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, I did.
By the way, is it Tobago or Tobago?
Tobago.
I think it's Tobago. Okay. Tomato. I just wanted to know. So we lost 2-1, but we did earn a spot in the 2024 Copa America anyway. But
aggregate scoring, David. We beat them 3-0, lost 2-1, 4-2. We move on.
Well, I'm a big fan of that. These
I know
series. I think we should try it actually. NBA, the Heat beat the Bulls 118-100. Bam with 23 points, 11 rebounds. Same score. Minnesota beat the Knicks. T-Wolves are the best record in the Western Conference. They're 10-3. 118-100. Charlotte beat Boston in overtime. What the wide world of sports is going on there? Celtics fell to 11-3.
Tatum had 45 in the loss, though.
Yeah, him and Brown have had a tremendous start to the season. And Porzingis has stayed healthy for 14 games, which in and of itself is a modern miracle. Remember all the excitement about, this Wemby kid in San Antonio? Yeah, they've lost 9 in a row. Clippers beat them 124-99. They're 3-11. So Stamkos tied it with 5 seconds to go, and then Brandon Hagel won it in overtime on a breakaway. Lightning beat the Bruins 5-4. Connor McDavid with 2 goals for Edmonton, but the Panthers beat the Oilers 5-3 anyway. Dallas with 5 in the third. That seems like a lot in hockey. They doubled up the Rangers 6-3. Nashville was losing 3-2 with under a minute to play to Colorado. Then they scored 2 goals in the final 40 seconds of the game to win 4-3. Ain't that a kick in the... Speaking of kicking the, you know that Tiger Rory Golf League?
Yeah.
It's starting in January of 2025 now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that power failure that caused that structure in Palm Beach to collapse. They couldn't get everything rebuilt by the January 9th start date. And apparently this league has to be over essentially before the Masters because of players' schedules and what have you. And so since they couldn't get it started in time, and the players were like, yeah, I'm busy. If we can't do this between January and the end of March, I don't know what to tell you. I can't play.
So this league is already losing a bunch of money before it ever even starts.
Yeah.
When you miss a year, I've got to think financially that's costing you a bunch of money, David.
Probably not Tiger or Rory, though. My guess is it's just all the investors. And a baseball note, Lance Lynn, who gave up the most homers in the majors last year, and yet the St. Louis Cardinals think that he'll improve their pitching. Wow, their pitching must have sucked. He signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with them. Let me get this straight. You give up the most home runs in the league. Yeah. Well, then how about $10 million and pitch for us? Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Did you miss the memo that gave up the most homers in the league? No. We got it. How about $10 million? Okay. And it's 7 minutes before the hour. That was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
really drove a hard bargain there, huh? $10 million. Like, couldn't have offered $1 million a month. I think $1 million a month is pretty good for a guy who gave up the most homers in the league.
I think this is one of the more remarkable signings that I've ever heard of.
So,
but that's baseball right now.
David Samson, who used to sign players like Lance Lynn, he will join us next. We're Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
RCB, it's tough to consider Edmonton a quality win. I mean, this isn't last year's Edmonton or the year before Edmonton. I mean, aren't they like 4-12-2 or something like that? But points are points. Great win against Boston. Now, Ambien, I will say, he usually doesn't get hurt, and he does make every start. Problem is, he's just not pitching very well the last year and a half. So, Trent, when do you leave?
Tomorrow after the show.
So you got to get this best of done today.
Yes, that's the plan. I'm going to stay here and hammer it out. My flight doesn't leave till about 3:45, but I'm still going to I'm going to go straight there from here. Just get there a little early.
Huh. Okay.
Wow. I mean, my aunt and uncle's place is back in
Cape.
Coral. Yeah, so.
When do you move into your apartment?
December 1st, Friday.
Gotcha.
So that's coming up too. And then I'll be a nice 7 minutes away from work in the morning. That'll be nice.
Big day today. This is the first day since Trent started working that he does not have any Detroit or Michigan State clothing or hat on. A Bass Pro Shop hat and just a regular old T-shirt that he might even wear on a date.
It's a LeBron T-shirt.
It's a LeBron T-shirt. So no, it's not. It's just
a LeBron brand T-shirt, but it's just, you'll see, David. It's just great.
David Samson says he never got a link.
Oh, he did, but I'll send another right now.
Is he supposed to be on at 7?
Yep.
He's joining.
Crap. I may not have. I'm confused. I thought I did.
Huh?
Well, he's still got a minute and 11 seconds.
Sent. I'll just make sure that didn't. Oh, I didn't. I'll be damned. Send it to Pat. Send it to Bud. A lot of video guests this morning. There we are. Sorry about that.
I thought that was it. Thought you finally dumped me. That would have been the Jeter way to do it.
Whoa, look at that.
Wow.
Here we go.
But don't we have to give you like a gift basket?
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it's time once again for David Samson, he of the daily podcast, Nothing Personal with David Samson. He's joining us once again. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at David the letter P Samson, David P Samson. You know, we have a question for you in our Twitch chat room. By the way, good morning and an early happy Thanksgiving wish. KG username wants to know about your presidential run, how it's coming along. Is there something we need to know in the last week?
I am neither running for president of a team, the United States, my current housing association, my current household.
Okay.
There is not one entity where I am currently running for president.
All right. Okay.
Appreciate the question, though.
I took care of business. I didn't know. You know, you go on that Lebertard show and listen, things get talked about and negotiated that, you know, we have to kind of keep track of here.
You'll be the first to know. If I'm ever going to miss a Tuesday at 7 a.m. Eastern, I will make sure to give you advance notice.
Thank you.
With free agency, just as baseball's going right now, no one's getting signed. Is this collusion? What's going on here? No, I mean,
come on. Are you using the C word because Aaron Nola got 7 years, $172 million? Bryce Harper's agent, Scott Boras, wants to renegotiate his deal because he actually may be playing to the level of his deal. People are waiting to see where Ohtani is. I already said on Nothing Personal and probably on your show, and I should have, why would Bellinger sign before Ohtani creates a ceiling for a hitter? Because Ohtani's going to be signed, quote unquote, as a hitter. Yamamoto was just posted, and he's going to sign by January 4th, and that's the ceiling in theory as a pitcher potentially. So why would Blake Snell nudge in there when he can argue I want to be above Nola, and every team is saying you're not getting $172 million over 7, but they don't say it together, of course. You have no proof.
And that is my closing statement. What do you think of 24.5 for 7 years for a 30-year-old contact pitcher?
I think the level of recency bias is causing generational wealth in the Nola household. And I love Aaron Nola. I love his brother. We drafted his brother, Austin Nola. He's a catcher. And Aaron Nola has had 2 great postseasons. And when I'm an analyst at CBS talking about it and looking at Wheeler and Nola, I'm thinking that is a great 1-2. That is ring-worthy. But recency bias is when you look at a postseason and you say, hey, we're going to Beltran him, which is what happens when a player has – that's what we call it in the sport. It's when a player has an incredible postseason and then the game of musical chair ends with the next team that signs that player to an oversign. And that's what I think happened here with Philly.
How do you find a deal in free agency? How do you go through the process of trying to find the guy who is coming off the bad year, who you think still has it? I mean, you know, as much as the recency bias gets guys overpaid, what you're trying to do is find a bargain this time of year.
So that is exactly the meeting that I had every year with our GM or at President of Baseball Ops. I would say, and let's take this year, for example. Don't walk into my office and say, we should sign Ohtani. I don't need you for that. Of course we should sign Ohtani. Or tell me that Bellinger, Brian Cashman walking into Halsteimer's office, we could use a lefty bat, and that guy Bellinger happens to be a lefty. That is not value added. Find me a Adolis Garcia. Find me someone who no one wants and acquire him and then watch him thrive. Find me a free agent who we can get for a year or 2 and have him overperform and then let him opt out and move on to another team the way the Marlins did with Soler. Find me that, and that is value added.
Yeah, but if you're certain markets, should you behave that way? I mean, Yankee fans at this point are like, I'll take your value added and shove it. Sign me the big damn lefty stick and sign me at least 2 outfielders. We're old, we're stiff, we need to get young, athletic, and we need some left-handed hitting, and you're charging $14 for a Heineken. Pay the price.
And I feel as though that the way you do your segments, that I would make them slightly longer. I would have your guests on for longer. I'd make it more interactive. I'd make sure you had a merch store. There's 20 things that I would do differently if I were you. But guess what? You know how to do your job better than I do. And to say all of the armchair fantasy players, the armchair GMs, there's a lot more to it. I get what you're saying, and I'm oversimplifying it. But that's not really the conversations that happen within a front office where we sit there and say, all right, we need 2 lefty bats. We need 2 outfielders. We're old. We're stiff. We're young. We stink. We're trying to put a team together with the budget we're given, with the pressures we're given by an owner, whatever those pressures are, to drop payroll, to raise payroll, to do a flash signing, to go at midnight and get Jose Reyes by overpaying. Those come from the owner. Those don't come from sitting around with your GM and trying to make smart moves. So I hear what you're saying about the Yankees, but it hasn't helped. It seems like they've gotten a lot of good free agents, traded a lot of players, and had huge payrolls, and yet no rings since 2009. So I'm not sure what they're doing works.
So let me see if I got this straight. Guests longer, segments a little longer, a merch store, and what else was it?
Better communication with your guests, better rates, all sorts of things I would do differently.
Did he say we know how to do this job better than him? He's the national guy, right? Right. Okay.
Right.
I just want to make sure. David Samson, he's going to do his podcast For a Nation coming up in about 52 minutes. It's nothing personal with David Samson. All right. CBS Sports, he talks baseball, the all the places.
What are the things outside of baseball that are on your mind right now, David? Because you don't just talk baseball and nothing personal. So what is it outside of the world of baseball that's got you?
So when it gets cold, I start thinking about the Oscars and how many great movies I get to watch now heading into the Oscars. I'm a huge movie guy. I watch a movie every day, but I won't go to a theater because I'm strange that way. And the only way I used to go to theaters is when I'd be alone. I just don't want people talking. It's not a germ thing or a COVID thing. I can't stand having to shush people. It makes me feel like my grandfather, but that's what I have to do because people are so disrespectful in movies. So I wait for them to stream, and we are now entering Christmas for that. So movies are on my mind, and the other thing that's on my mind, of course, is Israel. And that is taking up a lot of my bandwidth, not nearly as much as those in Israel or those who are fighting, but watching what's going on in our country and on college campuses, where my son is currently on one of those college campuses, where one of the college campuses is my beloved alma mater, University of Wisconsin-Madison. That is on my mind as well.
If I could go to the less serious topic in our remaining moments before we opened up our merchandise store. The future of movies. I'm being serious about this.
It's a great topic.
Right. I mean, first off, a lot of them are not doing well. A lot of the big budget ones, a lot of the Yankees of movies, if you will, are not doing well. I mean, are you concerned that you're going to have movies to watch in your later years?
Well, no, I'm not, because every business adjusts. And the thing is, there's always people who lead the adjustment and people who follow. And what we witnessed with these strikes, where the writers were on strike at the same time as the actors for a very long time, then the writers settled, then the actors finally settled. The big fight was about how is this industry changing? And by the way, it happens in sports too, when management fights with players. And when change is required, often there's a lockout or a strike, because both sides in any relationship, including a marriage, it is rare that both sides see the change the same and see the rate of change the same. And that's what arguments happen. So the arguments in the industry, entertainment industry, are about artificial intelligence, as an example. If kids can write a term paper on AI, why couldn't studios write a movie on AI? And it's quite cheap to do. You don't have to pay someone to write your term paper anymore. Do you need to pay somebody to write a movie when you can write a movie that people will watch, where your expenses will be down? The equivalent in sports, and I've been telling people this, if I have one more minute, imagine if we had robots playing our professional sports. AIs, like from the movie Hitch. Not Hitch. Oh my God, the Will Smith movie with Bridget Moynihan, Tom Brady's ex. It's such a good movie. None of you know. It's with,
you're asking the wrong guy.
iRobot. Thank you.
I was going to say, I'm a big Bridget Moynihan fan, so I have seen a large part of that movie.
So you should watch iRobot. So imagine if robots were playing sports. much cheaper than having Bryce Harper. The question is, would the revenue be the same and the value of the asset be the same? And if it decreases, would it decrease by enough that would make the owner of the team say, you know what, let's go back to human beings? It's just a math equation. If I could have $1 billion franchise where robots were playing the game because people paid the same for broadcasting, people paid the same for tickets, for concessions, I would do it because my days on the disabled list would go to zero. When one robot broke down, see you later, the next robot will be there. We can program the robots to play totally differently and figure out how to do the games. Why hasn't that happened? Because the math isn't there. But that's my point, and that's what was being argued among the writers and directors.
Best movie you've seen in the last month?
I don't know if it's the last month, but the best movie I've seen this year, and you're not going to believe this, is Barbie. If you have not seen it, I thought it was for children. And then I watched it and realized, oh no, it's for adults. And Greta Gerwig is one of the best movie makers. Forget the best female movie makers. She's one of the best overall movie makers alive right now. And it is a big person movie with big themes and important themes. And there'll be a lot of Oscar nominations for it.
So do you make some popcorn in your house when you watch these? I mean, since you don't go to the movies anymore, how do you do this?
So I don't eat popcorn. I eat candy. So I always have candy in the house, and I get a bowl of candy, and I sit, and I actually watch the movie the way I would in a theater, where I'll put up a few trailers first of movies that are coming, and then the trailers end, and then I go to the feature. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but
no,
I didn't up until today.
No. That doesn't sound strange at all. No. By the way, Miller and Moulton would do to you what George Carlin recommended many years ago. We would just come and sit right next to you in a movie theater and go, hey, how you doing? And see if it freaked you out.
It would. I can't stand people who do that. There's 10 seats available. Why are you sitting in front of me when I'm 5'5"?
Not in front of you, next to you. Hey,
Both.
how's it going?
Equally bad.
David Samson, nothing personal with David Samson. He'll do his daily podcast at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at David P. Samson. David, all the best to you, your family. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen. It's been an honor. See you next week.
Miller and Moulton.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd rolled out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, my bad on that. I don't know why it played because it hasn't the last couple days.
Yeah. All right. No
I'll
worries.
just double check every day, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, just make sure it's not in here.
Yeah, the guy that the new sponsor also is a big race car guy. Wants me to go to Sebring with him. I'm like, I want to, but first off, it's March Madness.
Yeah. It's a big party, apparently.
Oh yeah.
I remember when they used to send us tickets to give away.
Yep.
Yeah, David can't because he does his daily podcast at 8:00. And so, waiting through the commercial break and then we do the second segment, it'd be 7:30. And he has said, I need more time to prep for my show. So that's why we just do the one segment. He kind of squeezes us in. So that's why we don't do a second segment with David. Believe me, we would love to do more time with David. Your guys' response to when we have him on has been, top shelf. You've let us know you think he's one of our best guests. And we're actually trying to please you. I know no one else in your life is, but we are. I think, Sonny, if a robot comes up to me to take my order, I'm pretty sure I'd get up and walk out of the restaurant.
So I know you don't go inside. I did something yesterday that I haven't done in decades. I went inside of a McDonald's and you order on a kiosk.
I've seen that.
It's been around for a couple years.
I haven't been.
Just don't go
I haven't
inside
been into a
McDonald's.
McDonald's. I don't eat fast food.
Okay.
I hate fast food.
What did you get?
I didn't get anything.
You were just
I was there with my daughter and her friend, and
Okay.
I actually had my daughter had 2 McChickens, and she didn't finish her second one, so I threw the bun out and I took a bite of the McChicken.
Okay.
And that's as much fast food. That's as much as McDonald's as I've had in over 10 years.
Mark,
I mean, if I were to get
That's
fast
impressive.
food, it wouldn't be McDonald's. I'd go to Wendy's.
Okay.
I think the Wendy's burger is better. But David, do you order at the kiosks?
No, I don't go inside. If they won't take my order at the counter, I literally walk. I get in the car. I pull in the drive-thru. No, I will not do the work for them. No, I don't go to the checkout thing at the grocery store. Wait, automatic checkout? No.
So, like, I'm guessing, have you been to a Circle K? A lot of Circle Ks don't even have people.
Well,
I mean, they got to have people for smokes.
Right. The ones, all the convenience stores that are doing it, they have like the do-it-yourself counter and the you actually talk to a human being counter. I always go to the talk to the human being one.
Well, the Circle K, I think what you're referring to is you put everything underneath that sensor thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it just knows what you have.
Right.
That blows my mind. They have that in some stadiums now too.
Whenever I go to Walmart, which is not that often, but I only do the self-checkout at Walmart.
They have a lot of it in airports now. A lot of it in airports, self-checkout.
Hated ambient.
Ambient. Mark said that for years. Years. We just went to the Wendy's because it was 3/4 of a mile down the street from the station Mark's sitting at. And for the longest time, they had one of the 10 nicest people in the world handling their drive-thru. We would go just talk to her. That's why we were running a taped segment. We would go get food and eat it and then come back and continue with the show.
Wendy's chili is still, it might be the best fast food item that there is.
I agree completely.
Five Guys isn't fast food, Michael. You know that.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We got a jam-packed show today. We got Matt Baker talking college football coming up, a little more than 15 minutes time. I mean, there's nothing to talk about during rivalry week. And no games worthwhile, and final couple of, polls and who's ranked where, and they're going to stick it to Florida State, even if they go 13-0. My gut feeling says yes.
Mine does too.
Matt Baker to join us coming up. And then, we'll put week 11 to bed with Pat Kirwan. Bud Elliott will join us a day early. That's what the whole taking, Thanksgiving Day off is done. We've had to move people around. Remember, we're doing a show on Black Friday.
And we expect you to be here with us.
Yeah.
Really, but it would be nice if you stopped by.
No. It does need to be pointed out that Trent is clearly, it's a laundry day because as Mark has noticed that he's not wearing anything Detroit. So obviously he has to do laundry today before he heads back home over the holiday. Or are you just going to bring all the dirty stuff home and say, look, Ma, I missed you. Love you.
Well, sometimes it's not really about getting my mom to do it. It's just the inconvenience of rushing around. And so I throw it in a trash bag and just put it in my car. And then I do it when I get home. Sometimes.
All right. Here's my question for you, though, Trent. I'm guessing because this is your one trip back home. You're not going home for Christmas. You're going to spend, and this is probably one of the first Christmases you will spend away from your family, which is a tough thing to do as a young adult, but we all have to do it at some point. I am guessing, and I could be way off, that you may get Christmas gifts this Thanksgiving weekend.
I didn't even think about that. But
so I'm guessing you're coming back with new Lions gear. That's
okay?
My feeling, that we'll have he'll have 2 weeks worth of Lions wardrobe.
I don't know if he'll get gifts, because, they may think about, he has to pack it for the flight and what have you. But I'll bet he gets cash. No. And that they wait because he's moving into his new apartment in a week, and they'll wait there, and then they'll send the stuff there.
Those two things go hand in hand for me, Lions gear and cash, because if I get cash, it's getting spent on Lions gear. So
wow.
It really doesn't matter.
So a story that we talked about late in the show yesterday, I don't even know if it was in the syndicated part of the show or if it was in the bonus hour. So NBC moved on from Paul Azinger as their lead golf analyst. Story this morning, just posted by Sports Illustrated, is they offered him a pay cut. And he said, well, I don't know. It's a little steeper than what I'd like. How about this? And they said, no, that doesn't work for us. So, and he said, well, I'm not working for what you want me to work for. And they said, well, how about if we just move on? And Kurt Byram apparently is doing the Hero World Challenge next month. So I don't think any of us think that that's who they're going to full time. But so apparently it was, hey, we're going to cut your salary. And he goes, how much? This much. I don't think so. Well, then,
Then you're out of a job.
It's been fun. It's been well. And, happy holidays. So there you go. So that's what went down there. But still, I think you and I are curious. So who are they going to replace him with?
But I thought about this a little yesterday, and I did not talk to any of my golfing buddies. I probably will see them tomorrow. Those that watch golf watch.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter who the broadcaster is, they watch. They find it. It's the same audience every week.
It really is. It's just the enjoyment factor. It's a lot like watching your favorite baseball team. Let's be honest. We've talked about this. Okay, there are some local broadcast teams that we really like. And there are some local broadcast teams in which we go, oh, man, I don't know. Don't really do much for me.
And you're right, because I think you like the Marlins broadcast more than the Rays broadcast, and I'm the opposite. And it's just a personal preference thing.
Well, I used to like the
You
Marlins
were.
broadcast with Rich Waltz and Tommy Hutton there. But now I do prefer Dwayne Stats and BA to the guys they replaced Rich and Tommy with. I mean, that's not a good broadcast. I'm sorry. It's just like anything's better than Dolphins radio. And I do mean anything. Like Dolphins radio is so bad I actually won't listen. I'm like, nah, I can't do this. Sorry.
It's a rough listen.
Are they just not good, or are they homers, or what's the?
They're just not good.
They're just not good.
Right. And this is from two minor leaguers who know our place, by the way. And it's very infrequently that we're listening to quote unquote network or major league broadcast and think that we could do it better. This is one of the few in which we're like, wow, Miller and Moulton would do a better game than this. This is damn. But so you're right. I know the same people are going to watch, the Honda or whatever the heck that, the Florida Swing. This is when NBC basically, picks up their season. Then they take a nice time off again. And then around the summer, it's like, hey, we got the 2 opens. Huh? You interested? I hear Tiger's going to play. Huh?
And that's the only thing that moves the needle in the golf world. There's nothing else that does. The elevated events do better. I mean, the TV numbers were very much, you could have predetermined what the TV numbers were. The non-elevated events got X, the elevated events got Y, and if Tiger shows up, it gets Z. And that's the way it is.
So he's going to show up at his little shindig next month. And people who have seen him out caddying for his son say that he is walking without a limp. Okay. I mean, come on. We all hope that there's, however many acts you think he's had, we all hope that there's at least one more. I mean,
David, I hope there's 4 more days. I'm not kidding. 4 more days for Tiger. 1 tournament. Because I don't think he ever plays at a high level again. But if he could give us 4 days in which you go, that looks like Tiger.
Right.
That's all I'm asking for. Not trying to be greedy in 1 more season or 2 more years or whatever. 1 more damn tournament. Time now for our play of the day.
Major?
No. It would be better if it was. I mean, come on. If you want to.
Right, but you'll take Bay Hill. You'll take. Okay.
Time now for our play of the day. Trent, what do you have for us?
You guys might kill me on this, but bear with me. We go to men's college basketball, the SoCal Challenge, where 4-0 UTEP is on upset alert versus California. Cal knocks down a 3 to tie the game with 6 seconds left. The Golden Bears get it right up the court for this beauty.
6 seconds left. Here comes Powell into the front court with 2. Hardy for the win. Yes, sir! Around the world and down. And UTEP wins it at the buzzer. Pandemonium at the SoCal Challenge.
Tay Hardy at the buzzer lifts the Miners to 5-0. Hardy was one of 5 to reach double figures for UTEP. And here's the big thing. That sequence had major betting implications as UTEP covers -2.5 with the 3. And Cal's final bucket to tie was needed to hit the over 141.5, excuse me. So there you have it. Bad beat, good beat, depending on how you look at it. But just another reminder that we are very back with college basketball. We are back in full swing.
You know, Steven Stamkos scored with 5 seconds left to force overtime.
We're the Florida Sports Network. He plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He
Right.
just went UTEP Cal men's basketball in November.
I just don't follow hockey. I'll be better on that. I got to do better on that because you're right. If someone in Florida.
It's Steven Stamkos.
I'm aware. That I'll be better.
5 seconds left against the Bruins.
Right. The best team in the league.
Right.
Right.
Then they
Forced
scored in overtime. Could have had either one.
Hagel on a breakaway, by the way. I'm sure it sounded awful, especially with Michigan screaming and yelling.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. a team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around and get it.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Just to answer you guys in the chat room, I just don't know. I grew up blessed with 4 Detroit teams, and the one that I followed the least was the Wings. And ironically, they were probably the best throughout my childhood.
Yeah.
But I just, obviously, Lions die hard, Tigers die hard. I will never leave the Pistons, even though they absolutely suck again this year.
They were good. They were good a little bit when you were young too.
A little bit. Like I remember Chauncey, Rip, Big Ben, all those guys. But by the time I was in middle school, they were all gone.
Hold on. You were 9-10 when the Wings were in back-to-back finals.
Oh, I know. And I remember I hated the Penguins. I'm just saying I don't keep up with hockey as much. Because you also got to remember, as a Michigan State fan, I grew up with that. Like my winters consisted of Pistons basketball, Lions football, and MSU hoops.
Have the Pistons, let's see, LeBron ended them in 07.
Yeah.
And you were 8, right?
Yep.
I mean, have the Pistons had a good team basically since you've been a fan?
No, but I'm just a bigger basketball fan than a hockey fan. So naturally, that's just how it goes. The Pistons,
MSU hockey's not really been good in Trent's life either. They used to be really good.
Well, they're good this year. They just
the first good season they've had in ever.
They took down Wisconsin on over the weekend. See, like
that's a good ball.
I
just keep seeing that pass. That is such a good ball.
The MVS drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's nothing. It is nothing
the
against
Valdez
hockey.
Scantling drop.
Oh.
God, that's a good ball. It was just on again.
I'll tell you what, though, the throw he made, 3rd and 9, Eagles all-out blitz, guy's free, coming right at him. He's going to get drilled. He dropped that dime to Watson. Man, what a throw that was. Golly. That was when Troy said, you may not see a better throw.
Oh, speaking of which, it's your boss's birthday.
It is.
He's 57.
Yes, he is. This is the 1 month that we're the same age.
Jim, please never accuse me of being from Ohio ever again. I hate Ohio. Awful state.
Great. Just so you know, you live in Southwest Florida, where outside of Florida, there may be more people from Ohio than any other state in the country.
There was a Buckeye alumni office here up until about 15 years ago.
I believe it.
When Tressel
won his
When Tressel won his national title, He spoke at the Naples Buckeyes Booster Organization. At the time, it was the second biggest Ohio State booster club in the country.
Wow.
Second to Columbus. It was bigger than Cleveland.
We're bigger than Buffalo. Sorry.
So what do you say? A girl from Ohio or a Packer fan? Which, if God has the sense of humor, where are we going here?
Girl from Ohio with a bullet. Not even close.
Well, trust me, she'll have a bullet.
All right. You got to call Matt Baker.
Okay.
It'll be blue eyes or whatever, but she'll have a bullet. Oh, no, fam. I hate the tush push, brotherly shove, bush push. I absolutely hate it. I don't think it's a football play, and I think it's unsafe. And I'm amazed, for as much as they fake player safety, that is an obvious one where it is not good for player safety. I'm very surprised that if they keep it in past this offseason, I will be very surprised. Boy, the Eagles are good at it, though. They don't gain a yard.
I'd be pissed if I were the Eagles and they take the play out. Because not everybody does it as well as they do. I know you hate the play, but not everybody can do it.
No, they do. They don't gain a yard. They gain 2.5. I mean, they're amazing at it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. It is a pleasure to welcome back Matt Baker. He covers college football for the Tampa Bay Times. He's an AP voter, a Heisman voter, and follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at MBakerTBTimes, MBakerTBTimes. Matt, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. Hope you've been well. How are you?
I can't complain. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's always our pleasure, and we'll wish you happy Thanksgiving right now. So this whole Napier situation with the Gators, is there any uncertainty, or if he finishes with a 5-game losing streak and 5-7, are they just going to grit their teeth and just keep on plugging?
Unless it's just disastrous on Saturday, yeah, I think they're just going to grit their teeth and keep on plugging. And there's an argument, a good argument for why. First of all, it's the money, right? It'd be $30-something million. You'd rather keep that. The recruiting class is pretty strong. Last I saw was top 5 or 6 in the country, and there were some defections in the last week or two, but they still got a chance to have a top 6 recruiting class, and that's a nice sign that he can recruit. And then there's something else just to the MO here, where Florida has cycled through so many coaches lately. I mean, Muschamp was 4 years, McElwain was 3, Mullen was 4. At a certain point, hitting the reset button doesn't always work. And when Billy got the job, the whole thing was, if we're Florida, we don't want to have these peaks and valleys. We want somebody who can sustain success. And Billy promised to do that, and do that in a certain way that values long-term stability and continuity and eventually wins over short-term success. So if the whole point was, we, Florida, are going to bring in somebody who can win at a high level for a long time, we got to let that play out and get that system in place rather than trying to microwave it through the transfer portal. So that's the argument for keeping him. I don't necessarily know that, I'm not endorsing it or saying anything like that, but that's the argument that I think Florida's going to make here, assuming they bring him back.
Matt, make no mistake. Miller and Moulton hate injuries, as I'm sure you do as well. But given the fact that both quarterbacks for Florida and Florida State have been injured, and they're both going to their backups, does this give Florida a little bit of an edge, at least in that department?
Yes, because it takes away the positive of Jordan Travis. I mean, let's not, I don't want again, the only thing I care about, or one of the only things I care about on a Saturday, I don't care who wins or loses. My paycheck is the same. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and especially like that. So Graham Mertz was a very good player this year for Florida, I think. Not sensational, but he was steady. One of the highest completion percentages in the SEC and all that stuff. So he was good, but Jordan Travis was exceptional. The amount of plays we've all seen him make over the years where he'd take what could be a 10-yard loss and turn it into 20 yards on the other side, it was astounding. And I think we'll remember him as maybe one of the greats in Florida State history, aside from the guys who have the big stats, the big trophies, but certainly one of the most important players. I think that's certainly possible depending on what happens. And for him to be out in this game is significant. And the quarterback, it's not a wash because both teams lost their starting quarterback, just because Jordan Travis meant a lot more and had a lot more upside. But it does, the fact that Mertz is out too, does give you a little bit more level playing field if you're the Noles here.
Obviously, you're only one voter, but does Travis' injury impact how it is you're going to vote Florida State going forward? And of course, the reason why I'm asking, because there are people who are going to ultimately decide the 4 teams that go into the playoff, and they can take an injury like this into consideration and start changing their votes. Will this impact your vote for Florida State?
It did not on Sunday when I did my ballot, just because I want to see what the Noles do with a full week of knowing, okay, Tate Rodemaker's our guy. Here's what we're going to do to scheme him up and put him in the best position, because he's not Jordan Travis. His skill set is different, and Norvell is going to come up with a different way to use that. So to me, it's what FSU looks like under Tate Rodemaker is an unknown, and I'm not going to deal with an unknown. I'm going to deal with the known, which is that they're 11-0. And, we saw those games. Now, the concern I had with FSU is they didn't look particularly good. Actually, they looked bad early on against North Alabama, whereas Washington beat a top 12 Oregon State team on the road in the rain, and Michigan keeps kind of cruising along. So I dropped FSU from 3 to 5, but that was not the injury. That was just the performance as a whole and what happened elsewhere. But as going forward, I'm definitely going to look at how does this team look without Travis. But to me, as long as they're undefeated, they're going to be at the top with the other major undefeated. It's just a matter of how all does that shake out, and are they able to continue winning without the heart and soul of that team for a crucial rivalry against the Gators, and then ACC championship game against a Louisville team that seems to have found something this year.
Are you getting the sense at all that the national media is trying to push Florida State out because of this injury? I mean, do you think even if they run the table, how likely are their chances of not making the playoff in your estimation?
I still think they'll get in, but it depends on what happens elsewhere too. I mean, what if Michigan loses to Ohio State, or better way, what if Ohio State loses to Michigan on a last-second field goal, and the committee's viewed Ohio State ahead of FSU and by a decent amount through the rest of the early part of the season? Does that affect things? What if Alabama wins out, where they beat Georgia? That would have a 29-30 game winning streak, whatever at that point. Like, there's scenarios where you could see it and have a really good conversation, a really good debate about one-loss Bama versus undefeated Florida State and what have you. So I think those conversations were going to happen anyway, with or without Jordan Travis. And with him being out, if they barely get by these next 2 games, it's going to be tough. It's because you can definitely envision scenarios where, without stretching too much, where FSU doesn't look like one of the best 4 teams, even though they're undefeated.
Are you bullish on the future of college football? And I ask that because, if we took this season and put it into next year's formula, wow, it would be spectacular. Well, that's because we've got all these really good teams from the Pac-12. Well, that's not going to exist anymore. We have Texas in the Big 12. They're not going to be there anymore. I mean, you take all these teams, and most every really good team is only in 2 conferences. And I'm just wondering, if we have this year, next year, is that going to be great for the sport, or is that going to be, oh, this is Coke and Pepsi?
I think it's just different. Yeah, there's going to be some Coke and Pepsi in there too. But Utah Cam Rising, their standout quarterback, announced the other day that he's coming back. He's going to be in the Big 12. Arizona has been very impressive the back half of the season. They're going to be in the Big 12. Still got Kansas State as being a pretty solid program. So there's at least a Mr. Pibb in there, right? Like, I'll give them credit for that.
Nice.
We've got FSU that I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't know that they're going to be 11-0 this time next year, but I think they're back, and I don't think they're going to drop off the map. So there's a little bit of some other wild cards in there too. But the main thing, look, I hate a lot of what realignment has done. However, if October 15th next year, I'm off on a Saturday for whatever reason, and Oregon's playing Michigan, and Texas is playing Georgia. I don't have the schedules. You get my point. If there's those big games, heck yeah, I'm tuning in. And I think the average college football fan will as well, because yes, a lot has been lost, but we're also getting more helmet games too, and that is going to matter.
He's Matt Baker. He covers college football for the Tampa Bay Times. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at MBakerTBTimes.
Matt, if South Florida wins, they're going to be bowl eligible. Just how impressive is that to you of what they've accomplished this year from where they've been the last 3 or 4 years?
Extremely. I mean, the fact that it's been a bit since they already matched their win total of the previous 3 years. Now they've exceeded the win total in the previous 3 years with a chance to go to a bowl. It's been a very good job. I think, I'm in AP All-American voting, and there's all sorts of these coach of the years and what have you in different organizations. That's a long-winded way of saying when the season ends and it's time for me to come up with coach of the year ballots and what have you, Alex Golesh is the guy I'm going to think of on the national level, if that's not clear. I'll look at Norvell and honestly Saban and Barry Odom at UNLV, and there's plenty of others, but Alex Golesh is going to be a name that's on my list to consider, considering how bad they were. And to get to 5 with a chance to go to 6, that's a remarkable turnaround. That's about as good as any in the country, aside from, again, probably Barry Odom at UNLV. And yeah, so I'm extremely impressed. We'll see if he can keep this going. We'll see how they do with NIL and talent retention and all that type of stuff. But for our sample size of 11 games, USF has been very impressive.
Your thoughts on UCF's first year in the Big 12? They'll need a win Sunday to be bowl eligible. They'll be about a 2-touchdown favorite against Houston. Let's just assume they get it and they go 6-6 their first year in the Big 12. Your thoughts?
It's kind of about to be expected. I think eventually, maybe as soon as next year, the Big 12 was going to be this real jumble, and it has been. But I think it's soon is going to be where just about everybody can compete every year. And it's just going to ebb and flow based on who your quarterback is and what have you. And UCF will be in that mix. They're not yet. And, I just don't think they have the depth. I don't think they have the dudes across the board that the Kansas States and those guys who have been recruiting at the Power 5 level for a while have been. So, yeah, it's disappointing for UCF fans. It's not what you wanted. But realistically, you look at what Cincinnati and Houston and BYU to a degree have done since moving up. There's growing pains when you go from the G5 to the Power 5. And, for a long time, UCF would be playing in the major, play a Louisville or whatever and be able to get up and try and win that one game. But now you got a schedule of Louisville's, and that comes, you take some lumps there, especially early on.
Just curious, your thoughts on the Big Ten's punishment of Harbaugh. Do you think they got it right?
I have no idea. There is no right, is what I would say. There's no real guidebook for this, because it's unfortunate that it all happened, but we know that it happened during the season. So and you can punish them during the season. And I feel like you have to. You can't punish them in 3 years. That doesn't do anything. So the question is, how can you punish the people who did wrong and punish the program for taking advantage of this without punishing all the players who didn't do anything wrong? And I think Harbaugh being suspended, I think that's about as good as you can do. I don't know that vacating the win over Rutgers or whatever is going to, I don't know that does anything. So there's not a good situation here. But, I think suspending Harbaugh, I think that's about as good as you're going to do. You're the figurehead of the program. Somebody's going to pay the price. You get the salary to do it, so it's you. I think that's reasonable.
Don't know if you've thought about this, but you mentioned earlier Alabama winning out. Alabama wins out, Texas wins out. Miller and Moulton have that meeting week 2 much higher on the list as apparently the playoff committee. They only have head-to-head as like the 4th tiebreaker. Just curious your thoughts if they both win out and they're 12-1. Is the difference their head-to-head meeting, or is the difference how they appear now?
It has to be the head-to-head meeting to me. I'm with you. Like, we don't have to, some of these teams we kind of have to figure out, oh, okay, well, Florida State's with this schedule, they're 13-0, but they didn't play the guys that Texas did, or whatever the case may be. Alabama and Texas, we know. Texas won in Tuscaloosa by 2 scores, period. Full stop. That's your answer. Now, it's different if the game was flukier. That was not a fluke game. It's different if there's drastic injury things from that. No, that doesn't really apply here. It's different if their resumes and bodies of work are completely different at that point. I don't think that's the case here. So, yeah, I've got Texas boxing out Alabama, and when I do my top 25 ballot every week, I know Texas is going to be ahead of Alabama. Like, I also have Ole Miss ahead of LSU, and LSU ahead of Missouri because of the head-to-head there. So that's the way I'm with you guys, and we'll see what happens though, and because you can make an argument if Bama beats Georgia, that's a trump card that goes over head-to-head.
Yeah, I mean, it could end up being if it were to happen, it could be the best win of the season in the sport, and would that overrule week 2? He's Matt Baker. He covers college football for the Tampa Bay Times. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at MBakerTBTimes, MBakerTBTimes. Matt, we meant what we said about 12 minutes ago, and wishing you and yours happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully we can talk again.
Deal, and happy Thanksgiving to you all too.
Matt Baker joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton.
Well, at least everybody we've talked to, this is the part that's going to be really interesting, David. There's no one we've talked to from a college football standpoint that's taking Bama over Texas. Yet it seems that is what the playoff committee wants to do.
Right. Gary Danielson has said it's difficult for him to envision the 12-1 SEC champion not being in the playoff. But, I don't believe we've narrowed him down as to Bama, Texas head-to-head. Pat Kirwan next.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Good morning, boys.
Hey, good morning.
Always try to check to make sure you can hear me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mark is deeply entrenched in a conversation over there.
He is with someone in the hallway.
Reminiscing old times. It's good to see the building still filthy. Oh, how are you?
Absolutely.
Well, I can tell you, your hotel room is an upgrade from last week. And you got a nice view out the window.
Yes,
the sun's just coming up.
This is the Lowe's in downtown KC.
Yeah, I've stayed there many times.
Yep.
Walk across the highway to the set of restaurants over there, but I'm always there when it's the stinking championship game and it's 5 degrees outside.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant the whole trip here. It's going to start to get decent as soon as we leave. It's been misty, low to mid 40s, and breezy.
Yeah.
You know, with wind chills in the 30s the whole time.
Well, I'm upstate. I'm going to get out of here right after I get done with Cower because there's bad weather coming to the northeast.
Oh, really?
And you know how the traffic's like Wednesday, the day before. Forget it.
Aren't you watching your grandkid?
I am. That's Friday.
Gotcha.
I already had one last, but my wife couldn't do it every day, so I had him. But no, Friday I got him.
You guys have the late game?
Yeah,
Thanksgiving?
I hate that. It's not bad for me. I don't really care, but there's no like. This is 20 years, so that means 10 years we had the late game. 10 of the 20. I go, Jim, the game starts at 4. I'm not getting out of there till 8. When I drive back to Jersey, where you guys are, it'll be 9, and everyone will be unconscious on couches. Just don't worry about me. Cower and I will go out to an Irish bar and drink some Guinness and laugh. How are you, Mark?
I'm good, Pat. How about you?
I saw you deeply in a conversation there.
Oh, the old engineer that worked in the building was just telling me about his adventures. So I was more intensely listening. I could hear you. I had my headset in. I was laughing.
I wasn't sure. I like to make sure.
I was trying not to laugh when you said, yeah, the building's still a piece of shit. Yep.
I said filthy.
Filthy. But Richard, the guy I was talking to, used to work here. He was the engineer, and he has since left, but they won't let him go. They keep hiring him freelance. And he's like, they want to keep paying me. I keep showing up, but now I do whatever I want, whenever I want.
So it's funny you say that. I was walking out of CBS Studios last Sunday with an old timer. And I said, hey, I thought you retired. He's a cameraman. And he goes, I did retire, but they still make me do the Thanksgiving Day parade. He goes, I'll be on a scalpel shooting the parade. They don't have enough camera guys. So he said, I still do that and 1 or 2 other events. Yeah.
That's good money. Not fun, though.
No.
But good money.
Yeah. I'm pretty friendly with the camera guys in the studio. They're all funny as could be, those guys. They've seen it all. Their favorite thing, which I've told you before, is if everyone on the set takes the same team, all of them go to the bookie and bet against
the other way. Yep.
Every time. They go, these guys know what the hell doing.
Well, and it's fun. You know, I always watch the picks part of game day. The last thing of college game day when they do their picks. And back. Herb Street's the last one, and a lot of times he'll pick just so they don't.
Yeah, someone's got to sacrifice for the team.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And a show that is flying along with terrific guests. And, well, he has been with us, if not the longest, the second longest of all of our guests. He is Pat Kirwan, longtime friend of the show. NFL Radio's moving the chains, weekdays 3 to 7, Saturdays 2 to 5. And then on Sundays, well, he does that NFL Today thing. Although this week he'll be doing it on Thanksgiving because they've got the 4 o'clock game. Dallas and Washington. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers from Tampa to Key West, and a dozen locations in between Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. We'll wish you an early happy Thanksgiving. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. And yeah, you know, I don't like division games on Thursdays. So what's the league do? They put 3 division games on Thursday. Thanks a lot, fellas. You know, it's just a tough call for me to see the turnaround stuff. And Seattle, San Francisco, the night game's a very big deal as they battle for who's going to be in first place. And we all kind of think it'll be San Francisco, but Seattle is not going to have, you know, they're going to have guys that won't be able to go. And that's probably true for San Francisco as well. So I don't like when that happens.
Well, looking back at Monday Night Football, just your thoughts of the game of now Kansas City's played 3 straight games in which they've not scored in the fourth quarter, Pat.
Yeah.
Or in the second half, rather.
Yep. Well, I was thinking of David Moulton most of the game because for months before the trading deadline, Mr. Moulton was screaming, "Why are you not trading for a big-time receiver?" And they kept telling us they like these guys. Well, do they still like them today? Drop. And so they got a hole in their offense, and they've got a quarterback that can really throw it, and they don't have enough guys that can really catch it. So I think it's going to be a problem. And if they get in games like they were in last night where they absolutely need to have receptions, Scantling, that was a touchdown. That was going to win the game. So that deficiency, it has been suppressed because the defense is so good. But in games like this, we saw there could be a problem with Kansas City, which it's their own fault.
Well, and this is where I would say to the league, okay, your trade deadline was Tuesday, October 31st. 3 weeks later, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Now, I know the three of us would like it to be the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, but think about what has transpired in the 3 weeks since the trade deadline. All of the key injuries in which the trade deadline was before the halfway point of the season. And now it's at about the 60% mark. I mean, couldn't you just argue with the league? Why do you want to have the trade deadline before we're halfway through the season? I know you're all worried about tanking or whatever, but think of the deals that would have gone down in the last 3 weeks if they could just move this to today. Like the Chiefs wouldn't call the Tennessee Titans and say, okay, what's it going to cost? D-Hop.
Yeah.
What's it going to cost? I mean, you know what I mean? But also how much stronger I think, Pat, the league would be. Don't you want to, you know.
You're preaching to the choir, David, because I've been crying for this day. But they don't want to hear that because they don't believe what you believe and I believe. Here's what I said to him. I said, don't you feel you owe it to the fans to provide the best product possible? And if Tannehill was available, do you think Cleveland would have gone and got him? Do you think the Jets would have gone and got him? That, you know, we can get into the Jets all you want, but they kept holding off, dumping Wilson into the back row here, and now they're going to do it. I'm with you 100%. And I wish the owners, because it's their league, would say to the world of the competition committee and everybody else who legislates this stuff, hey, move over. We want more action. And you know, you want to get traffic on your website. You want people watching every show. You want everyone getting excited about their team and not losing hope. Because the guy who's trading the player, he wants to trade him as much as the guy who wants the player because he wants draft picks for the future. I've had to tell so many callers, don't call about the draft. And everyone who's mathematically in trouble wants to talk about the draft. So, yeah, you're 100% right. But Raise your hand if you think it's ever going to happen. That's right. I can see the two of you. No,
No,
hands up.
no. I actually think because Pat, at the 5, 7, 8 years ago, Mark, we didn't even have trades in the league. So listen, this league can move slowly. They're like a battleship, in the Indian Ocean. But I actually think, Pat, we're going to get it before this decade is out. They're going to move this sucker. They may not move it 3 weeks, but I really think they'll move it at least 2 because there's just too many damn injuries in the game.
Yeah. Well, it's on my list of things for the league meetings, which of course it's my list and no one's listening, but that's on the list among many other things. What's new, Mark?
So here we are, mid-November, and the Baltimore Ravens are the 1 seed in the AFC. They've been in this spot before, Pat, and Lamar's not been able to finish. Is this year different because of the way that Moulton has designed the offense?
Not really. If you look at his pace of running and look at his whole career, he's running about 9 to 10 times a game on average. And that's going to put him in his it won't be his first most running attempts, but it's going to be close. So he's going to land up probably the second most rush attempts in his career for a season. So in that sense, they haven't changed that much. Now, that he's lost Mark Andrews is a disaster for him because that's his crutch. That's his guy when all fails and he doesn't think he can escape because they contain rush him. He's throwing it to Andrews. So with him gone, I think it ups the runs to about 11 or 12 a game.
What do we make of what the Eagles have done? 9-1. Hell, the Eagles don't even think they've played a complete 60-minute game. They got outgained by 100 yards on Monday night. The Chiefs ran damn near 24 more plays than they ran, but here they are. They're 9-1, and I mean their last 3 games of the year are the Giants twice in Arizona, so you might as well just put them at 12-1 right now. I mean, they don't have to do much more, Pat, to be the 1 seed again.
No, and their sneak play keeps working, and they need it all the time, and no one's going to stop it. Yeah, does it really tell us how weak the NFC is? And by the way, teams in Pennsylvania don't care about being outgained. That's just a fact. Pittsburgh led the way, and now Philly's involved.
Well, you guys can keep on about the Steelers, but that team, if they make the playoffs, they're one and done. I'm sorry. That guy can't play quarterback, Pat.
No, and it leads to a subject that's probably going to be one we have early in the offseason, and that is, if I ask one question, how many teams have their quarterback of the future? Now, we all know talent is a reason you don't have one, age is a reason you don't have one, and health is a reason you don't have one. And I would say we'll arrive between the three of us at half the league does not have a quarterback of the future, and it might be bigger than that. And certainly Pittsburgh is on that list. And when I said that to Jim Miller, he goes, really? I said, I like Kenny, but look at Kenny and ask yourself at the end of the season, do we have a guy that's going to take us to a Super Bowl? And they're probably thinking no. Now, how fast will certain teams move because they arrive at the decision, we don't have the quarterback of the future? That's a different story because some guys, they just keep hoping that the guy they have is going to blossom. But if you look at this league really closely, you can figure out all these teams. The Jets don't have the quarterback of the future. The guy that's going to play maybe next year is 41 years old next year. We all now know Wilson can't do it. So you get my point. But it's a dilemma, and I don't think it can be solved by more than 4 teams, maybe 5, but probably not. So what are the other 10 teams going to do? They're going to lose season ticket holders is what they're going to do.
I'm going through the mental checklist here. It seems like half the teams in every division are unsettled at quarterback going forward. Now, Green Bay, we know, is going to give Jordan Love 2024. But if you ask the Packers right now, you sure this is the guy? They would go, not really.
Yeah, they might draft one anyway, knowing they got 1 year of overlap, which is fine by them. They kind of like that. But it's a dangerous proposition in a league that's driven by quarterbacks.
Kirk Cousins going to get paid again.
Yep, he sure is.
He's going to get paid again. That was the conclusion I came to from that little talk that we had.
Yeah, and I think we can name 5 teams. If you got my list of half the league needs a quarterback, and there's only going to be, and I'll tell you what, this happens every year. That list of quote unquote top quarterbacks in the draft, that's getting shakier by the day. And it's health for a couple guys, it's production, it's off the field. There's a lot of things that list may not be as big as everyone thinks. And then you look at Kirk Cousins. So what's the profile for him? Oh, a team that the coach says to himself, if I don't win this year, I'm out of here. That's the guy that's going to get Kirk Cousins. Maybe it's the Giants. Sorry, Dave.
Oh, take it easy. Don't do that to me. I thought you liked me. I thought we were friends. Okay, are you really going to leave me with that? Come on.
I'm suggesting a couple of the teams you can switch to for a couple of years.
Listen, first off, the Giants are so far away from being a good team. No. He might use the Giants to drive up the price elsewhere, but no. Come on. Don't do that to me. We're friends.
Sorry. You know, Mark has been the brunt of these kind of comments by me for years with Detroit and everything else, but now he's riding high. And it's your turn to take a little hit.
And I'm ready to watch all these games on Sunday, and I couldn't take my eyes off the Lions game. I watched that entire game while paying attention to the Dolphins and paying attention to the Steelers. And you're right. I thought I was a closet Lion fan. I think I've come out. But the Dolphins here, you know, their defense is starting to figure it out. We're running up on time, probably about a minute and a half. But, Pat, what do you make of what the Dolphins defense is doing right now? Because it looks to me like they're starting to figure it out.
Yeah, they figured out that if we get a bunch of weak teams in here, the defense is going to look pretty good.
Jalen Ramsey's back. Now, come on, Pat.
I agree with you. But this is the NFL. We can throw away from him every play of the game. Remember when Deion Sanders was the man? There were teams that never threw at Deion. It was rule 1, don't throw at Deion. So as I love Jalen the way he's playing. Someone asked yesterday, do you think he's an MVP candidate? I go, would you calm down? First off, I went through the whole rules. How many rookies? Because, Stroud's going to be the MVP. Well, one rookie ever has done that, Big Jim Brown. I voted for J.J. Watt when he had the great year. They didn't let him. So defensive guys, no wide receivers ever won it. So Tyreek Hill, good luck to you. Who's your MVP? Did Mahomes ruin his chance yesterday?
No, because
of course not.
There were 125 yards worth of drops, so no. And it's still too early. Come on, we're not even at the 2/3 poll. He's Pat Kirwan, moving the chains, NFL Radio, CBS's NFL Today show. Our remaining moments with Pat on the other side.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
going to Pittsburgh or somewhere, Mark, for Thanksgiving?
For Christmas.
Oh,
Here for
Christmas.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, I'm going to the Bengals Pittsburgh Steelers game and now no Joe Burrow, so that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
That was the whole reason I was going, was to see Joe Burrow.
Hey,
I've picked out since I've been with my wife, I've been to a handful of games because we've got the season tickets. All I ever do is pick out opposition quarterbacks. I saw him play Andrew Luck. I saw a Ravens game. I think I've seen one bad game, and now this will be two. But what? All right.
Do you think the Ravens will hold on to the 1 seed?
No.
I think their schedule's too challenging. I think the Chiefs will lose no more than one game the rest of the year, but I think they'll be vulnerable in the playoffs because of their lack of offensive weaponry.
Yep. I agree with that. I only ask because I can't stand the thought of going to Kansas City again.
You're going to Kansas City again, Pat.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'll say this, though,
I'm
Pat.
take
If
Mark's
you think
room.
about
That's our hotel there. Mark's room. David's room looks quite good to me today. Upgrade from last week.
Think about this, though. Let's give the Chiefs the 1 seed again, so they get the first round bye. But in theory, look at who they'd play now. They'd play the Dolphins. They could play the Jags. Jags don't fear the Chiefs. Now they can't beat them yet, but they don't fear them. Right? And neither do the Dolphins. So, I mean, that's a pretty live divisional game, even in Kansas City, if it's Jacksonville or Miami. Could be Baltimore.
I don't disagree with you. I just think Spags his defense is playing at a different level.
It is. It is.
They jump stuff. How about the way they? I swear to God, they know the routes. They are jumping routes like they have the blueprint to everything.
Do you know what's remarkable? The Eagles didn't run any crossing routes. Their receivers kept running north and south. AJ Brown, all he did was run patterns from the numbers to the sideline. I couldn't believe they didn't run short crosses. He's a big target. Snead's a terrific DB, but he can't get through AJ Brown.
Nope. I don't disagree with you, but Spags been doing it all year.
Yep. This is far and away their best defense. Far and away. They did something for an hour last night that hasn't been done to the Eagles in 2 years. They were kicking their ass up front. Nobody had kicked the Eagles' ass up front in 2 years.
That's true. So I got a vote for the assistant coach of the year. It's down to Schwartz and Spags. Who would you pick?
No,
Schwartz has done some job in Cleveland.
I will say this. The Eagles did something very interesting last night. They went 4 wide receiver, no tight end out of necessity between Goddard's injury. And then 81 got hurt in the game. They were most effective on offense going 4 wide receiver, no tight end, and it spread the Chiefs out. And believe it or not, they were most effective running in that formation.
Well, it used to be very popular, 10 personnel. And I recall when I was in it, we saw a lot of 10 on third down and 2 minute. But everyone got away from it once these athletic tight ends showed up. And now all of a sudden they turn into 11 personnels. But 10 forced you into dime. And these defensive coaches don't go to dime very much. They're a nickel and big nickel. Those are the things. So it's spatial. It's your point. It's spatial problems.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the count. You count the box for the draw. If you have a quarterback who can run the draw and you get in 10, it's over.
Well, I will say, Pat, I was thinking of Lamar and the Ravens going, boy, without Mark Andrews, do you go 4 wide, spread the Chiefs out, and run the quarterback?
That's right.
Because that will cause numbers problems.
Yeah. And the other thing, personally, is you put the running back in the slot and you put your second best receiver in the backfield. Now, when you go 2 by 2 and you run 4 verticals, guess what? The Mike backer has the back. And that if you have the right receiver back there, like I would have done a lot of that with Tyreek Hill.
Well, they did one play of that last night with Devontae Smith.
Yeah. They'll do more of it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh.
Well, Pat, let's look ahead. That you mentioned it already, the Niners and the Seahawks Thanksgiving game. Short week. How much of a disadvantage is it for the 49ers to have to go on the road in your estimation?
It's not a long trip. And I think they'll be the road winner. I mean, in the other games, Detroit and Dallas, I believe, will win handily. But San Francisco will go up to Seattle, and they'll do a good job. I think Seattle. The quarterback's got the throwing arm issue. He's going to play. They don't have their best running back. I would think San Francisco. Now, if you want to know, can they cover? Which it was 6.5 yesterday. I still would take San Francisco. I think they win by a touchdown. San Francisco got right, didn't they? Those guys in Buffalo got right this past weekend.
Well, I'm kind of curious. We've got 4 games coming up before the weekend, if you include the Black Friday game. And, all of them are basically 7 to 10 point spreads. And
Yeah.
we've seen lately, there seems to be a clear divide in some cases. I mean, what happened to the Commanders, for goodness sakes? They play the Eagles so damn tough. They've lost 2 close games to the Eagles, and then they've lost twice to the Giants and got blown out by the Bears. What the heck?
Well, they're going to get blown out here, too. CeeDee Lamb is completely on fire. And anytime you have 53 targets in the last 4 weeks, and he's catching the ball to boot, and he's catching it for big yards, he's playing great. Dak has owned the Washington Commanders. And Dak takes all this criticism, and if you look at him in his division records against those 3 teams, he does his job. They win their division games, and he's done a nice job against these guys, 9-2. Forget it. So those 2 guys. Now, there's a team. We talked about Kansas City having deficiency at receivers. The Dallas Cowboys just refuse to think they need another running back. And so they sit around with Pollard. He has 1 touchdown in 9 weeks. Kind of scary.
Aren't they basically the same thing as Miami? You talked about
Yes.
Miami. They look good against bad teams. I mean, that's all Dallas is right now. Until proven otherwise, they've got to beat a good team.
That's right. And they really run it up on the bad teams. They're not doing it on purpose, but they score in the 30s, 40s. They can pound the bad team. So, yeah, they're a lot like Miami. And so what are we going to – that's why the playoffs are great. The Miamis of the world and Dallases of the world, they're going to have to be much better when they get to the real good teams every week to get to the Super Bowl.
Now, I think it's important to point out, every year we say it's from this point of the season forward that we really find out what teams are made of. When we look back, Thanksgiving and beyond. And so in theory, the Dallases, the Miamis, Jacksonville, this is where in theory going forward, a team can take it to that next step, right?
Right. So here are the guys I think can take it and will take it to next. Kansas City will. Baltimore, if he doesn't get hurt, will. Question mark Jacksonville. Question mark Miami. Question mark Cleveland. I don't know. Houston, kind of interesting. I think Buffalo's schedule is they won't win the division now because of the schedule. You just count up the wins and losses. I don't care how many times you count it, you're not going to get the same amount of wins for Buffalo that you can for Miami. But they might cause some problems in the playoffs, and I think they'll get in as a wild card. Philly's been there. Detroit is the newcomer to the block that I think is going to be pretty damn good. They overcame 3 interceptions the other day, which in the old days, that would have been a disaster for them. They're pretty good on both sides of the ball. And that coach. 49ers, they know how to win. New Orleans, they're one and done. Dallas, they could be one and done pretty easy. Seattle, one and done. Minnesota, one and done.
Is Denver going to be a wild card team?
I think, to David's point, they're the team that you should be thinking they can make the important run now. And why? Russell's back in shape and playing pretty darn good, and they've done a nice job. I talked to one of their linebackers yesterday, and they feel pretty good about themselves on defense right now. and they're playing that way. So yeah, I think they're the team. So aim for who's going to fall out? Well, Pittsburgh's offense. I hate to say it because I thought they could win the division, but what's gone on recently doesn't lead me to believe they will.
Well, also Houston. I mean, this is a big game. Obviously, they win, they'll technically be in first place because they'll be tied with Jacksonville and they will have swept them. But if they lose, they drop to 6-5, and then that's right there battling to sneak in as a wild card. But you're right. There looks to be no playoff spots open in the NFC. There looks to be at least 2 that are still open in the AFC. And Pat, don't we now going forward have to remember this is a longer season than it used to be? The Eagles were 2-5 2 years ago, won 7 of 10 to make the playoffs. We all know Detroit last year won 8 of their last 10, even though they missed out on the playoffs. Denver was 1-5. They've beaten Kansas City and Buffalo to get to 5 and beat the hottest team in the league to get to 5-5. Don't we have to remember going forward, hey, maybe the awful start doesn't bury you anymore?
I think that possibly true, but the requirements to be a team that doesn't get buried is a quarterback and a defense. And Denver right now has those things, which in late September, if I said they have a quarterback and a defense, you would have said, sorry, Pat, your career is over here at Miller and Moulton, because they were that bad at both of those dimensions, but both of them are responding to that. Russ looks like the Russ in Seattle. Those passes he threw, that touchdown pass, the kid climbed the ladder for it, and there was a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, I think Denver has a chance. I bet you get nice odds in Vegas right now if you took them to make the playoffs.
We've done most of this 2 segments without even mentioning Jacksonville. They had a nice win against the Titans. If they beat the Texans this week on the road, which they need to do to split that season series, they're still in this for the 1, Pat. Their schedule got easier because Cincinnati lost Joe Burrow, and I think everybody's discounting the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They are. The first thing they have to do is secure the division. And so if I ask you which wild card team can still win the division, you can pick one wild card that can still win their division. I'll take Houston to win the division. I don't think Cleveland's winning the division. I don't think Pittsburgh is. I already said Buffalo, no. Dallas isn't winning the division. I don't think Seattle will. I don't think Minnesota. There's one team, Houston, and they're playing dangerous football right now. And I think D'Amico Ryans has done a nice job putting that together.
By the way, it's funny, for as much as I'm rooting for the Dolphins, I actually would take the Bills, because the Bills just need to get within a game of Miami. They end the season in Miami. They're 2 back in the loss column right now. They need to pick up a game. That's it.
I know. And the next 3 weeks are killers for them.
It is. But you know what? Miami's got a really tough finishing stretch. And, Pat, we'll see. Can they sweep the Jets? Okay, yes. They don't do it often, and they need to if you look at their schedule.
I say yes, because the Jet defense is worn out. Didn't they just give up 32 points? It's not – they just can't keep throwing punches the way they usually do. It looks to me like they're starting to become unraveled, and now they're fighting and all that stuff. The head coach has got a challenge keeping this thing glued together.
He's Pat Kirwan. Moving the chains weekdays 3 to 7 on NFL radio, and then Saturdays during the season 2 to 5. And whether it's holidays or Sundays, he's with CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between pitchers, because you can't fake fresh. Pat, we mean it. Thanks for everything. We are thankful for you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. We know you have to work, but we'll talk to you after the holiday.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. And remember, DeVito won with 9 sacks. 9.
As we've been saying, is it
it's
Tommy
not even
DeVito?
A record, by the way. You know the record, right?
No.
10 sacks. Randall Cunningham against the Seahawks, 1992.
David, I can't believe you didn't have that one for me.
I did.
You let me down. We
Sorry.
switched from the NFL to college football. Bud Elliott's next right here, Miller and Moulton.
See you, boys.
Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Okay, this is very important to get out of the way, Bud. My mother says, "Tell Bud I love him. Thanks for remembering. He looks so much better without the hat."
Where the hell's your hat?
I'm on it today. I woke up, I got my wife a latte, got back, did the hair. Like when we were just brownie points, like it's
wow.
Well,
Brand
taking care of the
latte. That's
taking care of the ladies today. Your wife and my mom. Way to go, Bud.
Yes, sir. Now, I mean, look, part of this is because, as you guys know, if you work in the sports industry and the kids are off school this week, she's on 24 hours a day now, basically with the two young ones. So we got to keep her caffeinated, got to keep her energized, and allow me to see you guys.
Trust me, I had to bring the mother-in-law in for the week to take care of it because my son, because I've been married twice. My son's 25, and he's like, "Wait a minute, she gets the whole week off?" And I started laughing. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I only got Wednesday off." And I'm like, "I only got Thursday and Friday off." These things have changed. They have evolved over the years. But Florida basically gives them the whole week off everywhere, don't they?
Yeah. So my young one only goes to school 2 days a week, and my 4-year-old goes 3 days a week. So, Monday, Tuesday is always, but like the whole week's going to be a lot.
What are you doing?
I've actually been coming down you guys' way.
Come see Dad?
Yeah. We're doing going down there, seeing the folks, seeing some friends, and we'll probably leave Friday evening, and then my wife and I are actually going to go to FSU and the Gators because we have a lot of friends who went to Florida, so be a good time, and probably get to stay for most of it because I got to do cover 3, the late night recap we do on CBS. So got to get back to the hotel and get mic'd up for that and all that stuff, but should be a good time. I don't get to go to a lot of games. Like
I was going to say you don't. That's the first time I've heard you say you're going to a game. You're like me. You sit and watch 3 of them at once.
Yeah, I mean, so Chip and Tom do so much HQ during the day, and our late night recap show does really big numbers. So like I'm kind of like I've got 3 TVs and 4 computer screens, and like you can kind of quad boxes. You can have 8 or 12 games going at once if you really need to.
How many games can you watch at once? I have found it's hard with that quad box. And, I can watch 2 games really well. I can pay attention to 3. Any more than that, I feel like I'm getting overload.
So watch for like analysis purposes, really not more than like 2 or 3 at one time. I'll have the other TVs fired up because like your eyes just kind of get trained to it. Like, wait a second, that's like a weird stoppage in play. somebody's down, let me write that number down. Like, okay, this guy got hurt.
Gotcha.
You know, and then just when you're making power numbers, for instance, it's a good way to kind of keep track of some of that stuff. And then a friend of mine has an AI bot that he runs to sort of cross-reference certain projections with how much actually got played, and then we kind of use that to reverse engineer who might have got hurt, which is kind of above my head, but
that's pretty impressive. Good to see the
Yeah.
Red Cups are out. I mean, F
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Already go to Christmas.
It's I don't like all like the special drink. I just get like the medium roast if I go, but
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm one of those that gets a black coffee when I go there.
do you know your wife's order though? Like, do you know it off the top of your head?
No, we don't do it enough. And my wife drinks black coffee most of the time too. So I know she has one. I did see a great hack on TikTok. It's basically voice record your wife's order.
Oh, nice.
Go to the drive-through and then just play your wife's order. I'm like, that's one of the more impressive things I've ever seen, because there's a lot to remember to a Starbucks order.
That really is. Yeah, no, I just have it pinned in like a note to we don't go that much, but yeah, it was.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
David, where are you this week?
Iron Bowl. But if you mean right now, I'm in Kansas City after Monday Night Football. But we got Iron Bowl.
We're doing we have a CBS pregame special for the Iron Bowl. Like obviously they blow it out. So I think it's like Dr. Pepper or something.
It's the 16th of the 18 years that Gary's been with CBS in the SEC. This is our 16th Iron Bowl.
Here we go.
It's gonna be interesting. Really interesting.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, Bud Elliott, kind enough to join us. Once again, he's got all the jobs. CBS Sports HQ, 24/7 Sports, Cover 3 Podcast, Nolecast. Follow him on Twitter/X at Bud Elliott, 2 L's, 2 T's, the number 3. Bud Elliott 3. First off, we're thankful for you and all the best to you and your family, and I hope you know that. It's very genuine.
I'm thankful for you guys. Kidding me? Y'all are the ones that gave me the first shot. Like back when I didn't have any of these titles. Y'all were like, these guys got something. You guys saw it, man.
Well, we appreciate it because we had a few of them over the years. They've all left us. You're the only one that's come back.
Wait, I just saw Pat Kirwan on. I mean, come on.
No, Pat's never left us. That is true. Gary's never left us. No. Okay. David Samson's still holding on to us. That's true.
There you go.
That's true. We're doing better.
Because you guys are really good at your jobs, and you don't ask dumb questions that make me feel like, why am I wasting my time? Like you ask me stuff that makes me think, that I think the audience likes. You guys, I mean, I don't know if Southwest Florida understands like how I do some of these too, and I'm like, I'm never going to do this show again. Like Southwest Florida has a really good one, you guys.
Wow, there's a lot of pressure on us now, Mark, for the next.
You better ask the next question.
I immediately wanted to say,
got a dumb one in mind right now.
Well, can you believe it? It's the final weekend of the regular season. And this is the best, though. I mean, rivalry week. I mean, man, oh, man. Also, isn't it nice watching Washington State? They've re-upped their rivalry. I mean, with all the movement, hopefully we're going to keep this weekend, right?
I really hope so. Look, the expanded playoff is something that I'm in favor of, but we are going to have to reckon with conference championship games and the timing of them. Now, conference championship games are absolutely just a money grab, right? The SEC started it. All the other conferences followed. Like, there's no real reason to have them, but they are a money grab, so it's going to be hard to get rid of them. I am a little bit concerned about the whole rematch thing as we are going to a divisionless format in most leagues now that we're expanding these leagues by so much. Like,
by the way, why are we doing that? Can you explain to me why it is? Because it is going to eliminate half of every conference having no chance in blank of ever playing in their conference championship game. It really is. Why are they doing this?
I think there's two reasons. the networks probably want better conference championship games, meaning they're not going to get stuck with Iowa against Michigan, right? Number two, I think they want to limit the amount of disconnectivity within the leagues. If you have an 18-team league or a 16-team league and you go with the division format, I mean, you're going to play like Texas A&M would play Georgia every 14 years or something like that, or like visit like you can't really play another member of your conference every 7 years. That just seems really like not a conference, right? That's more like a scheduling arrangement. So I think they want to be able to play everybody more frequently and preserve only the most important of rivalries. I'm actually in favor of it. What I think we may end up doing at some point is kill the conference championship games, go to a 16-team playoff, right? Which essentially would maybe make the same amount of money for you, but we're not doing this weird thing where like a conference championship game is going to cost one of these teams a shot to go to the playoff and also do this weird like instant rematch stuff that we're probably going to have for the first couple of years. So I do hope we keep the final weekend as special as it is now. Yeah. Also, I'm a little concerned about the final weekend because it used to be you just had coaches who would check out for the most part. But now I think we also have like some players who will check out because they're starting to think about transfer portal, where they need to be next year. All like just as we know, like some coaches interview during this week and then their teams totally flop. Now I think players are doing the same thing.
So Michigan got through 2 games without Harbaugh. Now comes Ohio State. How much of a factor is it in this game? And just curious how you see this game, because now Michigan will play a team with legit receivers, not just, the quarterback at Maryland can play, but the receivers aren't world class.
Right.
The Ohio State receivers, not just Harrison Jr., these are world class receivers. They should be able to throw it against Michigan a little bit.
I think so too. Look, to the question of will they miss Harbaugh in a really tight game, I think this is where it could matter, because if you have an assistant coach who's the head coach, is he a little more likely to pucker when it comes to making the really critical decisions that we know? Like, okay, you can have your blackjack card, right? And you're playing mostly optimal strategy, but then you get a split, and the card says you need to double both. Do you have the stones to do what you know is the right call? Because if you're the head man, if you're Harbaugh, you're like, man, I've coached in the Super Bowl. I know what the right call it is to go. Do you blink if you're the assistant? Do you punt? Like this is a situation where maybe not having Harbaugh actually could hurt them. I've talked to a coach, and I've been doing a lot of research on this because we're doing Cover 3 today at 11, so we'll do like a big game breakdown of this. I mean, I don't think McCord is very good. I think Ryan Day is an extremely underappreciated play caller and is finding ways to scheme those elite weapons open and give McCord sort of easy access throws. The other key in this game, Travion Henderson was our number 1 running back in the country 3 years ago. And I had said on a podcast, and this kind of got aggregated and got blasted for it. And I was wrong for about 2.5 years. I said, like, he would start for them on that playoff team that they had. Like, I thought he had that much juice to him. He ain't never been healthy so far. Now, like the last 3 games, I'm like, this is the kid that we saw in high school who was just, he looked like Adrian Peterson in high school, right? If they can get him to hit an explosive run or two, I think that's huge for the Buckeyes, because you're probably not going to go on long, sustained, methodical drives against Michigan. Having a home run hitter at running back really could help. Even though McCarthy hasn't been playing that well, I do think he's the better quarterback, though, honestly. Like McCord, I don't think – I think he's actually like a weakness for that team.
Well, we said all year we were not going to find out about the Michigan secondary until the Ohio State game. But we saw signs last week. Maryland's got a competent quarterback. They got a couple receivers. When I was watching that game, Bud, I'm thinking to myself, well, if Maryland could do this throwing the ball, what could Ohio State do?
There's a weird competition thing, and thank God the Big Ten is expanding and adding some more legitimate athlete, type teams into the Big Ten. Because if you look at it, like Michigan has played, who are the best passing games they've played? Purdue and Maryland. That's not much of a test.
And listen,
right?
UNLV's passing game might be the 3rd best passing game they've seen this year.
That's true, and they do it in a weird way. But like certainly from an efficiency standpoint, I think you nailed it there. Here's the flip side. Is there any good defensive line that Ohio State has faced that they blocked? Because Notre Dame gave him the business. Penn State gave him all sorts of trouble. It was basically just, Marv, you're our only hope. Let's chuck it to you 18 times and hopefully catch 12 of them, which he did. And was Wisconsin the third best D-line that Ohio State's faced? Because Wisconsin gave him a lot of trouble too. I mean, Ohio State, let's go back to our preseason notes. And I keep a lot of them here on my desk. And I refer back to it. Like, what did I think of this team? Should my thought about this team materially change? And if so, why? From 12 months ago or from 4 months ago. They did not like their offensive line situation. They had to attack the portal heavily. They did. It was not a good year for portal offensive linemen, as Colorado might tell you. And, Michigan's got real D linemen. Can Ohio State block them enough to let Ryan Day cook? Because I do think Ryan Day is a really underappreciated play caller.
What other rivalry game gets you? I mean, this weekend. I mean, obviously, there's so many great games. Is there a game, whether it's under the radar, whether it's Oregon State, what game has you fired up more than any?
Apple Cup. I mean, look, Washington State had a bunch of injuries during the middle of the season, and they looked really good on Friday night. Now, I know Colorado's got problems, and Colorado kind of laid down. But it wasn't like Washington State was just giving freebies all the time. I mean, they went out and kind of took that thing, and they looked pretty competent. And I think Cam Ward's a good quarterback. I know some schools think if he hit the portal again as a grad transfer, he'd be in high demand. If they're finally getting healthy, and it looks like Washington State might be getting healthy, like, I know Washington has eyes on the playoff guys, but Washington State's got eyes on making a bowl, right? Like, their season went off the rails, and they might be back on track. 17-point underdog at home last Apple Cup. Well, not anymore because they've renewed the rivalry, but last one before Washington goes to the Big Ten. I'm curious to see if Washington State can chuck it around on these guys.
So your take on Florida State, now that they lost their standout quarterback, would you knock them down? If they post a donut, are they still automatically in? Which we've all thought, hey, you're a power conference team, you post a donut. Remember, Bud, with Jameis healthy, they were the third seed in 2014 when they went 13-0. That was with a healthy Heisman Trophy winning quarterback that they were the 3 seed. Now they could be undefeated with a backup quarterback. I mean, do you think it's possible they can now be left out?
I think it is possible that they could be left out. I don't think it's probable they get left out if they're undefeated, right? Because if you do win the next 2 games, Rodemaker most likely has to play well enough that the committee can't dock them enough. It'll be, assuming Louisville beats Kentucky, it's probably a win over what the committee had the week prior as a top 7 team by that point. So, I mean, that's going to be hard to knock them for going and winning against a top 7 team and being an undefeated Power 5 conference champion. I do think there is some chance. There's also, guys, a realistic chance they lose one of the next 2 games, if not the next 2. It's very possible. So DraftKings hung to make the playoffs plus 260, which I thought was a bit of an overreaction. I bet it. They changed it to plus 145. So, I mean, now they don't take a whole lot, but profit's profit, right? And they still got to make it. But I just thought it was like 75% chance to miss seems a little high. I think it's probably more of like a coin flip if they make it or not. So I went and took the 260. Norvell has scored points with worse quarterbacks than Tate Rodemaker. 4th-year junior, son of a coach. He's been in the system, all 4 years. He does have a better arm than Travis. He's not a better passer than Travis, right? Arm strength, passing, not the same thing. He's pretty athletic. Like, he's got some TikToks of him doing dunks and jumping over stuff that are like, okay, kind of impressive. What does Florida score? I think that's the real key here. Like, can Norvell get FSU to high 20s, low 30s with Rodemaker? I think there's a pretty good chance of that. And then UF has the backup quarterback. What I'm really interested in here, though, Austin Barber, Florida's left tackle, did not play against Missouri. Their right tackle got rolled up on and looked like he blew his ankle against Missouri. If Florida has a backup tackle or a backup quarterback and both starting tackles out, that's a weakness against a major strength, because Florida State, like, 2 of the best players on their team are those DNs, Jared Verse and then Pat Payton, who was the rookie of the year last year in the conference and has had a very nice season. That's kind of the key. Like, if I'm betting this game, I want to watch Twitter for the warm-ups. Barber warming up. Is George warming up? Because we knew Florida did not like their depth at offensive line. If they're missing both those guys, I think it will be hard for the Gators to win the game. If they got both of them, I think Florida's kind of live.
You got an upset rivalry weekend?
TCU needs this for a bowl game. They've been looking better the last 3 weeks. Sometimes the results haven't showed it. Oklahoma looked real sketch last weekend against BYU. That's a bad BYU team for them to struggle against. So I could see TCU pulling it.
Wow. I like it.
I would not bet the Boston College stuff unless we get like that line. To me, has the Miami quit factor already baked in. You know, like if it was 14 or 17, I would consider taking Boston College. But athletically, Miami is much better than BC. If they show up, they should win.
And they showed up against Louisville. They didn't quit against Louisville.
Right.
I mean,
the fans didn't, but the
they
team
don't.
Yeah, but that was a little bit embarrassing, right? I mean, senior day at home against the top 10 team, and you do that. Like, come on, man. Beautiful day.
Students were already gone, which put them up against it. I mean, they had but I don't expect them to draw.
No, I don't expect them to draw for like a Virginia game. A top 10 team at home with a coach that you're actually excited about. I don't know. I was a little bit surprised. I was like, I mean, I joked about it during the week. And then for them to like completely no-show it was ridiculous.
Final moments, gut feeling. 2 years ago when Georgia posted 12-0, everybody said even if they lose to Alabama in the SEC title game, they're in. Sure enough, they lost and they were in. If Georgia beats Georgia Tech for win number 29 in a row, are they in?
I think
or is this year different?
This year could be different because Georgia's schedule looks a little bit worse. The fact that Missouri did hold on against Florida probably gives Georgia a good enough win where I think they would have a good chance to be in, even with the loss.
Bud Elliott, CBS Sports HQ, 24/7 Sports, the Cover 3 podcast, Nolecast. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Bud Elliott, 2 L's, 2 T's, and the number 3. Bud Elliott 3. Bud, safe travels. All the best to you and your family. Enjoy Florida State, Florida, and we'll talk again next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving, Bud.
Bud Elliott, kind enough to join us, and he didn't wear his hat, which made my mom very happy. Bud taking care of the ladies in his life, his wife, and my mom, Miller and Moulton.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, Matt Canada news. That's big. Except I didn't see. Did you see who they promoted or no?
No, it just said he's fired.
Okay. I don't know who Kenny's quarterback coach is, but maybe they'll just do that.
Yeah.
It's typically what they do, right?
Someone tried to hack my Facebook account this morning.
That's so annoying. How do you people not have anything better to do?
I didn't want to mention Matt Canada out because
we're doing
it.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought that this way, I mean, outside of me mentioning Tuesday before Thanksgiving in the open, I mean,
Yeah, I even with the Monday Night Football question to Pat said in the Monday Night Football game, I didn't even
exactly.
You guys have been really on point with the
No. Talking about, the holiday weekend,
Right.
I mean,
it's perfect.
Are
It's
you
gonna-
planning on running this hour too?
I mean, yeah, if you guys are okay with that.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
well, but then
Yeah,
we can't mention Matt Canada.
Yeah, can you find it? Yeah, we got to do the
Yeah,
Matt Canada thing.
Well, that's fine. I mean, yeah, we'll figure it out. I've got other stuff I can pull.
But I mean, you can run 7 to 9.
Yes.
Yep, I'll do that for sure.
Okay. So how much did you have saved before today?
Enough. I mean, I had Gary's segment from yesterday. You guys did a good NFL preview.
Yeah, that's perfect. You can run
Playoffs
Gary's segment at 9.
Yeah.
Because that was the top of the hour. So you're
Yep.
good, right? That's perfect.
Yep. David versus the Snake on 11-9. That was during the.
That's a 20 break, right? That's
Yeah.
a 20 segment.
Yeah. So there's stuff.
You're good?
David's Christmas letter.
Perfect.
We've got plenty of
Yeah, we're good.
material.
Okay. Are you sure? Because you need 6 segments. You need 2 top of the hours, 2 20s, and 2 38s.
Yeah. I've got stuff. If I have to, I'll go back and look at the podcasts that have been posted like the last few days and find the best timeless stuff.
Okay.
from the week. Is it pronounced Canada? I didn't know that. Matt Canada, or is it Canada?
Oh, it's Canada. My bad.
Okay. No, that's I didn't know. I had never heard it
Yeah,
pronounced that way.
It's 3 hours sleep. My bad.
No, you're fine. Yeah, very rare in season for Rooney's and Tomlin. I agree. I think if anything, that shows you why they still. I mean, they don't want to waste. They think they still got a shot here,
Well, they do have a shot,
right? So they're making the change now.
but that was a big loss.
Yeah, it was.
Division. They still would have been tied in the loss column with the Ravens having already beaten them.
Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton. Normally, it's at least 6 to 9 along the Florida Sports Network, but this is just for our loyal base in the 239. We wouldn't still have a show if it wasn't for you, and we are very thankful of that and of you. This Thanksgiving week, we will be doing a show on Black Friday. It's football season. You know, what the heck, right? We'll have 3 games to talk about from the day and night before. Do you like the Black Friday NFL game?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. Now, for me personally, Friday afternoon's an afternoon that I typically like to tee it up. I'm not changing my plans on Friday to watch the football game.
Jets Dolphins this year. The Jets have asked the league, hey, kind of like Detroit and Dallas, can we do this, every Black Friday? Could that be our thing? League said, no. I appreciate the offer. We'll get back to you. So as of now, the Sunday or the Thursday night game of Thanksgiving week, that rotates. And the Black Friday game, at least in the short term, is going to continue rotating. So we'll see. Some breaking news. This is not developing. This is breaking, by the way. This, I think, is the red Kirwan at the bottom, not the orange or the yellow.
In a lot of ways. Because this is a team that doesn't do things like this. They don't operate this way.
But have you seen their offense this season?
Yes, I just got a text from a buddy, trying to confirm that it happened. And I had expletives in my response to him about how bad that offense has been this year.
But the Steelers fired offense coordinator Matt Canada. And it's at least a half a season too late for Steeler fans. But hey, at least it happened. At least it shows that the Rooneys and Tomlin were watching the same damn product as everybody else.
They've watched a Penguin game or two. They've paid attention to what's been going on. I mean, they were breaking out fire Matt Canada chants at Penguin games.
They were. And they just felt that 6-3 mark, it was a little unfair. That would be unfair. Come on, we're 6-3. But, I mean, did they have 200 yards of offense?
No.
Granted, against the Browns, and you feel, and others do as well, best defense in the league. Certainly top 3. And they were, Pickett, did he throw for 100 yards? Barely, 103, something like that. I mean, we think they have 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 2 running backs, and yet no offense. Huh. So Tomlin and the Rooneys firing their offensive coordinator as we head for home here, the home stretch, Thanksgiving and beyond, the stretch run in the National Football League. Right, my $20. Steelers going to make the playoffs? They're in right now. I don't know if they're 6 or 7. I think technically they're the 7 at 6-4. Bills a half a game back at 6-5.
David, I'm going to say yes. And the reason is they're getting extremely lucky. Do you know who they've not played yet this year? The Cincinnati Bengals. They get them 2 more times.
Beginning this week, right?
Right. And then they play them the 23rd of December as well. I know that because I'm going to the game. And I was going to the game and picked the game out because I was going to watch Joe Burrow play.
Right.
Now I'm just going to freeze and watch 2 inept offenses. And I will probably be at Bettis's bar by mid-third quarter because it'll be so damn cold.
Well, you better hope the Steelers have the better quarterback in that game. That'd be, an indictment if they don't. Hey, we saw work in Buffalo, though, this week. They fired Ken Dorsey, promoted the quarterback's coach. Josh Allen said he didn't sleep. He was upset. He's taking it personally. And then he went out and kicked butt and was caught on the sidelines yelling, "I'm back, baby." Okay. I mean, this could be it. I mean, if all of a sudden, I mean, let's face it, with the Steelers defense, which along with Cleveland, the Jets, I don't who else you want to throw in the mix. Certainly it's a top 5 defense, right?
Absolutely.
So if all of a sudden they get a competent offense, I mean, even like what Russell Wilson and the Broncos have been doing for the last month, just a competent offense.
David, if I told you that the Steelers would average 21 points a game for the rest of the season, how many wins do you think they'd get?
Well, not knowing the schedule at the top of my head, knowing though that they have Cincy twice and Baltimore one more time, and I don't know what else is left. But I would say if the Steelers can score 21 points a game, at least 5 of their last 7 they'd win. They'd be at least 11-6.
Right, and if it's 4, it's going to be enough.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. 10 will get you.
All I mean.
Right.
That's going to get them 21 a game would get them 4 wins, and they're in the playoffs.
Yep.
And nobody's going to want to play them in the postseason. That's a 2-7 matchup, a 3-6 matchup you just don't want.
No question. And think about who they'd get right now. Kansas City's the 2, Jacksonville's the 3, Miami's the 4. I mean, for as much as we're rooting for the Dolphins and or the Jags, you don't want to see the Steelers defense in a first-round game. You'd be like, oh, man, really? You sure we couldn't face the Texans? Golly. I mean, think about it right now, Mark. Isn't Cleveland the 5 and Pittsburgh the 7? I mean, for one of these 7-3 or 2 of these 7-3 teams, those are 2 defenses you really don't want to see. And if Houston doesn't make the playoffs, who's going to grab that spot in place of them? Buffalo? Denver? I mean, you could see where the first round AFC games are going to be really salty.
This is where, outside of Dallas in the NFC, this is where you really see the depth of the AFC. You'll see it in the first round of the playoffs, David. I think you're totally right. Wild card weekend in the AFC could be a gauntlet. I mean, you could end up with Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland as the 3 lower seeded teams.
Right. 2 of the 3 best defenses and Josh Allen, and that team is the wild card. Then again, who knows, if the Bills track down the Dolphins, then the Dolphins are also in the mix, and they're a wild card because of their offense. Mostert's just, 4 to 5 yards a carry, by the way. I mean, for as much as it is fun when they throw the ball and Achane and Tyreek Hill and all that, every time they run Mostert, it seems like he gains 4 yards. You don't lose a lot of games if your tailback's gaining at least 4 yards every time he touches the ball.
David, it's hard to lose any. I mean, it really and truly, if you can do that, you're in pretty good shape. The last time I checked, if you can average 4 yards a carry.
Yeah,
you
should be.
Seems that that's a pretty good method to get things done. 21,000 is the text line. 21000 is the text line. Text coming in saying, are you guys serious? You think Miami would rather play Houston than Pitt? You're crazy. Pitt can't score more than 10. Go get 21s against the Steelers, and it's a win.
Yeah, I'd bet my job that if you polled the Dolphins and the choice was Houston or Pittsburgh, they'd rather play Houston. I'd bet my job on that team vote. Yeah. The Steelers defense? Come on. Houston's a great story. They are. A great story. But this week, I think, shows a lot for the Texans. This is a step up.
And they've already beat them. But now what's expected of you is different. The expectation level for the Houston Texans has risen. Are they going to be a playoff team? Are they going to contend for the division? They're going to find out everything when they host the Jags on Sunday. Vegas thinks it's tight, by the way. It's a 1-point Jacksonville. They're favored by a point. I mean, it's basically a pick'em game.
Is Houston this year Jacksonville last year?
They might be, and we'll find. I mean, the next 2 weeks will tell a lot for Houston. They play the Jags at home, and they play the Broncos at home the following week.
So this is a 3-game homestand then for the Texans because they just beat Arizona at home. Well, gotta make
Schedule's
hay,
very
baby.
favorable of the Texans the rest of the way.
Got to make hay then. I will say this: Jacksonville wins this Sunday, they've won the division. They'll have a 2-game lead. They will split with the Texans. I think it's over. I don't think Houston will catch Jacksonville if Jacksonville wins this weekend. Also, because Jacksonville's catching a break, they're hosting Cincinnati. What did we all think? They'd be hosting Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Instead, they're going to be hosting Jake Browning in Cincinnati. That's a little different. It's a little different. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but who knows? I mean, if this is a jolt for the Steelers and they can just be a decent offense, then they'll certainly be a playoff team.
And I think they will be a playoff team.
And they'll be dangerous at least early. I think we all can't see them putting 3 wins together to get to the big game, but I think we could all see them. I mean, that defense has stolen, 2-3 games already this year?
But it has. I do think, at least to the Texans' point, that the Texans are a playoff team. Even if they lose the next 2, they're going to be damn close. This schedule is ridiculous. I mean, the Texans have the Jags this week and the Broncos the following week. Then they're at the Jets. Then they're at the Titans. Home for the Browns is a tough game. Home for the Titans, at the Colts. That's 6. I mean, they're at 6 wins right now.
Well, is there only the one game in which they'd be an underdog by more than 3 points? Like they're a 1-point underdog this week. There might be one other game that's a virtual toss-up. But right now, looking at their schedule, 7 remaining games, we think there's only one in which they're going to be a 3 or more point underdog.
Yeah. I don't even know will they, at home against the Browns, will they be a 3-point dog in that game? I don't think so.
Well, we'll see. Joe Flacco quarterbacking by then.
So, the only starting quarterback that the Texans face is Russell Wilson. The rest, Trevor Lawrence this week, and then Russell Wilson. The rest are backups.
How much gas we think is left in that tank, though? Like, did Houston peak midseason? They were very fortunate to beat Arizona on Sunday. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
It says Steelers president Art Rooney fired him.
Right. I was just reading the same thing, David.
Well, I got to admit, that's
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, where are you going? Where did you go for barbecue? Someone's asking. If you went to Jack's Stack Barbecue. Where did that didn't sound like where you went?
Q39.
What's that, Trent?
I was just gonna say, you guys don't think you could use that last segment? I don't absolutely need it. I just, as far as,
Well, it doesn't matter, to be brutally honest.
because you guys opened by saying like it wasn't. You didn't mention that it just happened, or did you? I don't know.
Well, we said it's breaking news.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't need it. I just thought that's good content, but don't matter. Almost done.
I personally think it's time's up. I know you asked David, but I think it's time's up.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, the Diamond District bonus hour. So Beyonce left town, right? Madonna?
Yes.
Pink.
It was to Corey, but
Right. Okay. Right. There you go.
it's the big
Right. Left one
diamond
name. Right.
bridal
Expo.
designer was there
Right.
last weekend.
Right. One name, though.
Still
That's the
doesn't
thing.
mean they don't sell to Corey
Right.
bridal packages.
No. It
Still
just
get
means that Pink and Prince and Mariah and Beyonce and Madonna and them, they're just not there in person. But
Ooh, you put Mariah in there. That's interesting.
I'm just going with one name.
I know. I don't.
We
think
all know who
there's
she
one
is,
main
though.
person.
Come on now.
It's Mariah
That-
Carey. It's like Tom Brady. Mariah Carey. Tom Brady. It's just a. It just.
Okay.
I don't think of it that way.
It flows.
Yeah. Thank you.
But if you say Mariah, I mean, who do you think of?
Well, yeah.
I mean, there's no one else.
No. David,
But you're right.
I'm not doubting you. I've
You're
never
right.
heard anyone ever refer to her
No.
that way.
And
'Cause
you are
her name
correct.
flows.
Yes, you
You
are
are right.
correct. You are correct. That people refer to him as Tom Brady. It's not just Brady. Whereas it's Peyton, Eli. That's true. So, I stand corrected.
Mahomes.
Right. Right.
But then there's the Mariah Carey aspect of like Muhammad Ali. You say the whole name, right? I mean, or just Ali, I guess.
I
You
think
definitely don't just say Muhammad.
I think you went with both with him.
Okay.
I'm doing Eddie Murphy as the Jewish guy in the barbershop right now. A man wants to be called Muhammad Ali. Sorry, that's all. You're both doing that, and I'm replaying a movie in my head.
That was a great scene, though. It was a great scene, especially since he and Arsenio Hall did all the characters in that scene. That's a great scene. But so anyway, yes, you can still go to the Diamond District, Felipe, if you're listening, and still take care of things, this holiday, purchase it around one holiday, deliver it around the next, that's all we're saying.
Some teams are shopping early for Christmas because they fired their offensive coordinators.
How about the news, by the way, that's coming out that apparently Tomlin was not the one that did the firing.
No.
He got overruled. Wow. Come on now. We've all paid attention to this franchise, and with good reason. For the last 55 years, they've been pretty damn good. Did Noel or Cowher ever publicly get overruled like this? Not that any of us can recall, right? It may well have happened, but we didn't find out about it. I mean, I'm sure the Rooneys overruled Chuck Noll or Bill Cowher at some point. But we didn't know. And apparently, Art Rooney II was the one that said, yeah, get him the hell out of here.
Get him out.
I'm tired of watching
He's
this.
taking responsibility for the firing.
Yeah. Huh. So Matt Canada, my bad, out as offensive coordinator, apparently from ownership on down. Huh. So apparently, like, the one guy is going to call plays and the other guy is going to serve as offensive coordinator. I don't quite know how that works, but like the quarterback coach is going to do one role and the running back coach is going to do the other. Huh.
Okay. Let's see how it works.
Yeah. Just could you score
it can't
20
be any
again?
worse than what's been going on.
It seems very difficult, actually. I mean, about the only thing Steeler fans have been saying is, well, at least we don't have Zach Wilson and we're not the Jets. But we're in the area code, though, and that's disheartening. So don't we also now find out this is pretty important? Pat Kirwan brought up on the show about teams and do they know who their quarterback of the future is? I mean, these final, 7 games for the Steelers? Yeah, this is kind of important as to whether or not you think he's still the guy, right?
100%. To me, it's exactly what this firing means, is that they're going to use the rest of the season. Yeah, they want to make the playoffs. Obviously, the Steelers always want to make the playoffs, but they're going to find out right now if their quarterback is the guy. Was it the offensive coordinator? We'll find out. Was it Kenny Pickett? We'll find out.
Now, Yinzer in our Twitch chat room is saying Dan Rooney, late in Chuck Noll's career, made him fire Tony Dungy. Huh. That doesn't look so good in retrospect, huh? It's a bad look. He made me fire a guy who'd be a Hall of Fame coach and win a Super Bowl. Huh. Maybe that's why I do the football and you do the owning. And Chuck Noll would say that too. You know, how about you sit in your seat and I'll sit in mine? But okay, so we'll see. It's interesting, at least. I'll tell you what, this league's got drama, Mark. And imagine if they could just push the trade deadline back. Golly.
It would be amazing if today was the trade deadline.
Could we just fake it? Okay, today's the trade deadline after the game that just took place. What do you think the Chiefs would give up for D-Hop?
Or Mike Evans?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. If you're Tampa Bay, although, man, that's tough. You're a game out of first in a.
I know.
And if you haven't traded Evans by now, but if you're Tennessee, I mean, it's over. Season's over. You ain't going anywhere. So, what do you think?
Are the Raiders done? Is Devontae now available that he wasn't then?
No, they will not. They would not do that, I don't believe. I don't. Like, even last week with Jalen Ramsey covering him a lot, he still had 7 catches. I mean, Devontae looks reinvigorated without Josh McDaniels calling the plays and Jimmy G throwing the ball. He does. He looks like Devontae again. So I don't think they would trade him, but I do think Tennessee would trade D-Hop. If you're the Chiefs, I'm the Titans, you're the Chiefs. I say, you want him? 2nd round pick.
Done.
Okay. Just saying.
You kidding me?
I
trying to win Super Bowls. I don't care about a 2nd round pick. I need to win Super Bowls. That's what we're here to do. That's pick 64 in my world.
Yeah, I understand. Hell, I'd give up a 1st round pick for him. I really would for the rest of the season. Remember, the Rams gave up a second and a third to rent Von Miller for 10 games. What do we got? 7 games left in the season plus playoffs? So you're thinking 10, 11 games. 10 if we get the bye, 11 if we don't. Yeah,
And the bye is going to turn out to be such a big thing as we're dealing with just one team getting a bye. So the fact that it's not, if it was 9 or 10, the fact that you could maybe make it 9 by making the trade, David, makes it that much more valuable to me.
Hey, while we're role playing, and I know we're pressed for time here, let's do it quickly. Pat Kirwan brought it up. How many teams feel they have their quarterback of the future? So when I ask that question, no questions, no concerns.
No, just go. I'm ready.
NFC East. 2 of the 4 don't, right? Giants and
4 don't.
Washington.
No, Cowboys and Eagles have it.
Okay, North.
The Lions.
Well, yeah, because Kirk Cousins is a free agent. South.
Nobody. Panthers. Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, the Panthers aren't going to give up on Bryce Young.
Right. West.
Niners, Seahawks, maybe. That one could be a little more complete because of the Murray contract.
Okay. So let's just throw, and the Rams, Stafford's like in his mid-30s. So, that one's kind of, the whole division's up in the air. AFC.
Right. 2 teams in the East both have one.
Right.
Bills
Jets
and Dolphins.
Patriots don't.
Right.
North.
Joe Burrow.
And Lamar.
Okay.
And Deshaun. Okay. So the Pittsburgh's the question mark. South.
Trevor and Stroud, and I really think Richardson.
So 3 of the 4.
Yep.
Okay. West.
3 of the 4.
Only the Raiders, unsure. So
Miller
there you go.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. I don't know who this kid is that's masquerading as my son who's out in a boat right now shooting ducks, but
wow.
Yeah, it's like 38 degrees and he's killing birds.
Wow. Adam, if they win the Super Bowl and you want a ring, they'll make it for you. There was a wife of a player that was in the booth last night, or maybe it was the wife of the owner. But man, the Super Bowl ring that she had on, oh man. So the Bears are picking first and fourth right now, right?
David, let me check. I thought it was first and third, but first and fourth.
New England third?
Yes, because they've played one fewer game.
So right now it's Chicago, Arizona, New England, Chicago, the Giants, right?
The Chicago and the Giants are the same. Yeah, the Chicago has because of the strength of schedule puts them ahead.
Go Blue, it was massive. I don't think so. I think the ring is the same size. It was like a Cheez-It. Maybe bigger. Obviously taller, but man, it was like 8 Cheez-Its stacked together on a ring. It was, oof. I don't think so, Nick. I don't think a third quarterback gets drafted before Harrison, but
That's funny. They put up a question, which team is the biggest challenger to the Chiefs in the AFC, and they have 4 different answers. Now, Sal Pal's a little crazy going Broncos.
Who would you say, Ravens?
Yeah.
Although
without Andrews, I
Ravens.
It's just they find a way to bounce back. They're banged up every year. I've never seen anything like it.
might say the Dolphins. Sorry.
They got the most explosive offense.
5 out of 6 teams they've held under 300 yards. Now you can lose. I mean, like the Chiefs held Philly to like 238 last night and lost. But
no, Nick, you're right.
All right, here we go.
5 turnovers.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Thanks so much for being with us. The Diamond District bonus hour, Miller and Moulton. You ready?
Let's get right after it.
Okay.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Duke University founded today in 1852.
Okay.
The Edison Lab records the first surviving motion picture today in 1890. Red Grange plays his final game for the University of Illinois today and would sign with the Chicago Bears today in 1925. The original Frankenstein is released today in 1931. The Yankees went free agent shopping today in 34. They've always been good at free agent shopping. Today was Joe DiMaggio. They buy him from the San Francisco Seals of the Pacific Coast League.
I was going to say, we didn't really have free agency for another 40 years. So,
but they did.
Yeah.
It was just different.
Right.
Bill Veeck sells the Cleveland Indians for $22 million to fund his divorce today in 1949.
Yeah, okay. That's happened before.
Nixon's attorney reveals the presence of an 18.5-minute gap in the White House tape recordings related to Watergate today in 1973.
Wait, what happened here? I don't know.
I don't know.
Just something happened to the machine.
Rocky premiered today in 1976. Trent, have you ever seen the original Rocky?
Of course.
Oh, hey.
No, I didn't mean that as a no. You know my dad, of course. I was raised on the Rocky movies, except
See?
number 5. We don't acknowledge that one.
There's a lot of them we shouldn't acknowledge.
4 is maybe the best.
What?
Well, 1's the best. 4.
4.
Why don't you like 4?
Come on.
4's maybe the most iconic. The Drago fight, the red, white, blue shorts.
What? Oh, for goodness sakes.
Oh, my goodness.
You got to know, someone my age, that's the one that's on the internet the most. That's the one you see the most. You see the Drago, the memes, the comparisons.
Better than 2 guys. Better than 200 million.
One's the best. I'm not.
We's, and if you guys could do it, we could do it.
And everybody could do it.
The fake Gorbachev in the crowd with the
Oh,
scar.
the fake Gorbachev is fantastic.
The scar on the forehead and everything. That's the most iconic. Unbelievable. You're done.
It's a bone of contention on this show. Trent. You just walked into the fire right there with David Moulton. Today in 81, Physical goes #1 and would stay there for 10 weeks.
Listen, we did a lot of drugs in the 70s and early 80s. There's a reason Nancy said just say no, okay?
Today in 83, U2 released Under a Blood Red Sky. One of the great live albums ever released. And pretty much got a whole new audience. You had seen that tour.
Yeah.
You
got to admit.
You saw that show that I only heard on vinyl, if you know what I mean.
Correct. I did. You got to admit, they had a 10-year run. They didn't have a bad album for 10 years.
No.
83, and even the one before, but through 92, they didn't have a bad album. Yeah, after 92, they were not the same band. But they did not have a bad album all through the 80s and through 92.
Today in 1989, HW passed a law or signed a law banning smoking on most domestic flights. Up until 89, we could pull lung darts on a plane.
Yep.
Today in 95, Springsteen releases The Ghost of Tom Joad. He won a Grammy for it. The cover of that song by Rage Against the Machine is one of the great all-time covers. Happy was released by Pharrell today in 2013. And Charlie Rose got gas today in 2017 for being a pig. Stan Musial was born today. Earl the Pearl Monroe is 79. Goldie Hawn is 78. Cedric Maxwell, 68. Singer Bjork, 58. Your buddy Troy Aikman's 57, David. Junior's 54. And Michael Strahan is 52. What did I miss?
Who's 54?
Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay. We gave Troy a cake at the production meeting yesterday.
Oh, did you sing
Happy
too?
Birthday. Oh, no.
Why not?
It was a big game. No. People had their game faces on at 10 a.m. No, it was.
Oh, boy.
No, it was a serious production.
Very serious. This
was.
football game is more serious than last week's, and it will be more serious than next week's.
You do know there's only 7 times that the teams that played in the Super Bowl met.
The football game. You do them every
I
week.
understand. It didn't strike us. And listen, those of us who have been with him for a while, longer than the ESPN crew, we didn't even think about singing happy birthday. There are just certain guys you sing happy birthday to, and certain guys you go, hey, we got you a cake. Happy birthday.
Here's the one question I have about last night's game. I was thinking about this, and you've told this story a lot. Ed Sveda. It's Ed Sveda, who is Joe Buck's stats guy.
Right.
Big Eagles fan.
Yep.
After every score, flaps the wings and yells, 8, hey, 8 at Aikman. Did he do it? Was it serious for him? Did Ed still flap the arms at Troy last night?
Well, the best part was the first 2 touchdowns. Remember, the first one tied it at 7. So he just went 8. And Aikman looked over and he gave it a little flap of the wings. Just a little. Okay. And Aikman, All right. Then it's 17-7 in the third quarter. And then they score again. And, 8. And he looks at me. And I'm like, yeah, yep. You got to look at him. And he looks over at him, and now it's a little bigger flap of the wings. All right. And then when they scored to take the lead, he waited till the commercial break. He took his headset off. He walked over. He got in between the two of us, and he just really flapped the wings.
Good. You know what? He took it as a football game.
Yep.
The same as the week before and the same as next week.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
There's a lot that happened today. Like you mentioned Edison in 1890. Do you know 13 years earlier on this day, he invented the phonograph? 1877. What else we got here? How about this little footnote? The Titanic. We all know what happened to that. Okay. Do you know it had a sister ship, the Britannic? It sank today in 1916 in the
I want to know who built these ships.
Right. So what else we got? Mark, honestly, of all the things that you've overlooked, and today was the day when, do you know today was the day we found out who shot JR? I mean,
makes sense. Start of the new season. They carried it out till November. Yeah.
Yep. This country shut down to find out who shot JR.
And it was the most anticlimactic person. It was like the, third cousin twice removed from somebody who had nothing to do with the show.
We waited 8 months. He got shot on March 21st of 1980. And they didn't air the episode as to who shot him until November 21st.
And they had every member of the cast shoot him so that the cast would not know who shot JR.
What show is this?
Dallas.
Dallas.
It was as big as it got at the time.
Yes. Including, by the way, JR. They actually recorded JR shooting JR, and Hagman turned to the camera and I guess they're not taking any chances. This was before Plaxico shot himself in the leg. We didn't think that could happen. So there you go.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
The St. Matthew's House. On Monday alone, they distributed 1,000 turkeys. They're still doing it. If you'd like to donate, go to NBC-2. You can find them quickly there or just look up St. Matthew's House. But they donated over 1,000 turkeys yesterday. They keep doing it, taking care of people. Great organization. For the bad, we go to Santa Rosa County in Florida, where police were called to remove a cold-blooded burglar from a house or an alligator that it got inside of a house. Deputies completed the task and were able to remove the alligator from the home. Finally, the ugly, we go to Lehigh Acres, where Mom had already purchased Christmas gifts, had them wrapped like she does every year. Last week on Friday afternoon, she left the house. They were all neatly wrapped. When she came home, not only were the gifts gone, a PlayStation was gone, a TV and computers. Someone robbed everything from her house.
It's awful.
That is awful. That's why it's the ugly on today, November the 21st, 2023.
So, listen, we've got action tonight. I know this for a fact because the aforementioned Ed Sfida is taking 2 flights to get to Buffalo. All right, for action. Joe's spotter, Bill Garrity, is taking not 1, not 2, but 3 flights today to do the action. Bowling Green's at Western Michigan, but they're headed to Buffalo, where Buffalo at 3-8 is hosting Eastern Michigan, who's hoping to get bowl eligible. Buffalo at 3-8 is a 5.5 point favorite. I know. So this ends, by the way, this ends the stretch of a football game every day for 50 consecutive days.
Right, Monday will be the last day of it.
No. Today.
Oh, no, there's no games tomorrow. Oh,
There's
that's
no
right.
games tomorrow. The streak ends tomorrow. So this started early to, October. 7 weeks in a day. There's no football of any kind tomorrow.
Seems like an opening to me.
Well, college hoops, maybe? I don't know.
Yes.
Who do we got? 2:30 today on the Deuce, right? Syracuse and Gonzaga. And the Maui. So we actually have 2 top 10 matchups today. Kansas Marquette, that's 1 against 4. Now that's 10:30 tonight, but still. But Purdue, Tennessee, that's 2 against 7 in the latest poll. That's 8 o'clock tonight. Both those games on the 4-letter network.
Florida State plays Colorado. Colorado a 4.5 point favorite in that one. That's at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
So Orlando's hosting Toronto. The in-season tournament's back tonight. There's 5 games. Does anybody know who's winning what? Does anybody care? The TNT double dip, by the way. Cleveland and Philly at 7:30 and Utah and the Lakers at 10.
Panthers are hosting the Bruins tonight. For all you Boston fans, good opportunity to go see your team because, well, the Panthers don't draw, even still with last year's success. And the Lightning are hosting Winnipeg. My bet that I like tonight, give me Carolina over Edmonton. I think it's 3 and 4 nights for Edmonton on the road. Give me the Hurricanes tonight over Edmonton, minus 145 for Carolina.
Actually, are you sure? I thought these games were all tomorrow.
Oh, you're right. I just flipped on my NHL, and those are the games that came on my schedule. These are all tomorrow.
The NHL, and this is weird.
Tonight.
The NHL has nothing tonight.
What the hell?
You guys have to watch college hoops. You have to.
They're making us watch basketball tonight.
Unless you want to watch action.
Come on.
Hey, here's one for you real quick. CMU taking on Stetson in the Sunshine Slam at Daytona Beach. CMU 3.5 point dog. Stetson's supposed to win. ESPN matchup predictor says Stetson has a 2/3 chance on the dot, 66.7% chance to win. That's what
it's a home game for the Hatters in Daytona.
It really
it's a stone's
is.
throw away.
With Brett Comer as the number 3 assistant for the Hatters.
Might need to bring him to Southwest Florida, see if he can help them get a win.
Well, my guess is he'll want to move over a few spots on the bench if that's the case. But hey, 1 and 5.
1 and 5, and have been favored in their last 3.
Yeah, I think all but 2. I think the 2 Power 5 games they were dogs in. Otherwise, I think they've been favored in every game they played. Right.
Right.
Yep. The one wins against Ave Maria. That's a rough start. 5 and 16 in the last 21. The carryover from last year, not good right now. Need to turn it around quickly. Gulf Coast Showcase going on all day today at Hertz. We will do this again tomorrow, Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for